It's Monday, January the 12th. Today, flags waved and Iranian Manitobans gathered at the legislature in support of Iran protests. A lesson from the Living Prairie Museum, visitors learned how animals survive the winter peg. And later, forget the small talk, this Uber driver is taking the five-star experience to a whole new level. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Monday to you. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Hoping you had a really great weekend. The weather was a little wacky. We'll get to that in a moment. But speaking of weather and enjoying the outdoors, Ainsley is going to be outside, and she's going to be outside with some dog sleds. Dog sledding, of course, is very popular up north in Manitoba, but there is some that goes on at Festival and other events around the city. So we're going to find out a little bit more on what it takes to get these dogs all working together like that, as well as the fun activities that you could participate in. We're going to get some of that throughout the morning today. But yesterday, wacky weather, freezing rain, which made for crazy weather on the highway and dangerous driving as well.
This is the kind of trade-off. I love the warm temperatures this time of year because, Lord knows, January can be pretty rough with those very cold, frigid conditions. But again, with that warm weather, when we get any sort of incoming system, the precipitation can be quite dicey with the roads, freezing drizzle like we saw yesterday. And we have a chance of that continuing today as another low moves in and those warm values meet it. Currently, speaking of warm values, it's just -5 degrees out there. That wind chill making it feel more like -12. Pretty clear. Winds are strong out of the west at 20 kilometers per hour. Pressure is rising. Humidity at 87%. So yes, likelihood today we're going to stay dry. No more of that freezing drizzle. But we do still have a slight chance of it. Tomorrow is a different story. You can see a good amount of cloud coverage pushing in from the west there, so there will be a mix of sun and cloud. Northern Manitoba, it's not really showing up, but you two are in store for an overcast day and likely a snowy one at that. So our futurecast shows it a lot more, paints a better picture of this, is what I'm trying to say. So denser clouds to the north, more of a mix of cloud coverage and clear sky in southern Manitoba. As the day progresses, that's the system we're tracking, likely bringing that flurry activity off and on throughout the day through all of northern Manitoba from today into tonight. Temperatures decent, not quite as warm as you saw last week, but not bad either. And then this is the system that's bringing that chance of freezing drizzle overnight tonight, and then likelihood into tomorrow. We'll be dealing with that because our temperatures are just so warm. We are not producing the snow like we typically do. In terms of our temperatures, we're getting up to a high of 2 degrees today, if you can believe it, barely changing overnight, and tomorrow we're back to 1 degree with that mixed precipitation, but a real big come down comes into Wednesday.
Thank you, Catherine. More than 100 people gathered at the Manitoba legislature on Sunday in support of protesters in Iran. This came after activists said at least 538 people were killed, with even more feared dead during nationwide protests over economic uncertainty. Protests were happening in 185 cities, with more than 10,000 people detained, according to U.S.-based human rights activist news agency. Co-organizer Bahar Jafari Jozani in Winnipeg said with Iranian regime blocking international calls and internet access, it is getting difficult to get in touch with relatives in Iran.
We're scared, right, because you have no news, you don't know how they're doing. They've also cut down the electricity as well, so they don't have no phone connection, no internet, no light. All that is definitely affecting their day-to-day life as well, so it's definitely scary for everyone.
Jozani said people are defying the internet blockage by using Starlink. The crowd at the legislature was waving the lion and sun flag, a flag used by the Pahlavi dynasty before the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The demonstrations hit the 2-week mark on Sunday. Pimicikamak Cree Nation's Chief David Monia says 7 members of the Canadian Armed Forces are to arrive at the Northern First Nation today. In a social media post on Sunday, Chief Monia said members are to provide technical assistance, assessments, and support for critical infrastructure and recovery efforts. He said plumbers and other workers are also arriving to help with water and electrical issues, but the community is having a tough time finding them adequate bathrooms and shower facilities. Monia said some workers who are already in the community are getting sick due to lack of clean water. Originally, he said 8 CAF members were coming, but the number was corrected to 7. The Northern First Nation learned early this month that a days-long power outage had left its homes and buildings with frozen water systems, sewer backups, electrical issues, and burst pipes. Prime Minister Carney is set to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Tuesday in an effort to break the ice and boost trade after years of frosty relations. Political watchers say Carney has a difficult task ahead of him as he tries to navigate tensions between Canada's 2 largest trading partners. China and the U.S. particularly, after Canada followed the American lead in 2024 with a 100% tariff on imports of Chinese electrical vehicles that led to China retaliating with a 100% tariff on Canadian canola. The Prime Minister's trip to China comes at a time when farmers here at home are struggling to turn a profit as tariffs drive down market prices. But as CTV's Alison Bamford explains, there is hope this week's meeting could mark a turning point.
This time of year, Ryan Scragg should be hauling grain. Instead, he's pushing snow and wondering what he's going to plant in the spring.
The problem is right now is that nothing pencils out to a profit.
Canola and peas usually make up about 70% of what Scragg grows, but both crops face punishing tariffs from China that have pulverized market prices. Right now, all of Scragg's bins are full, but normally for this time of year, he said at least 20% of his grain would already be sold.
I'm waiting as long as I can. At some point, there's just no more option of waiting.
Many face the same challenges, now clinging to hope that upcoming talks between Prime Minister Mark Carney and China's president will progress trade negotiations.
What we're hoping to see now is that we can translate some of that engagement into action on these issues.
Carney's visit to China, slated for next week, is planting optimism ahead of spring seeding. But farmers still mindful that these tariffs were put in place last March and removing them takes time.
I don't see them inking a trade deal or something that immediately fixes it, but I think doing anything is better than doing nothing.
For now, farmers like Scragg will weather the storm. He plans to cut back on canola and nearly drop peas altogether this spring, seeding a little bit of everything, hoping he can grow a profit. Alison Bamford, CTV News, near Prince Albert.
2 projects allowing more travelers to be screened well in advance of crossing the Canada-U.S. border are set to come into effect this year. Public Safety Canada says pre-clearance is meant to make it easier for officials to intercept threats before people or goods cross the border. The government says it allows travelers to the U.S. to enter the country or catch a connecting flight more quickly because they've already been cleared. One of the pre-clearance operations will be out of Billy Bishop Airport near downtown Toronto. The leader of the opposition in Manitoba is adding his voice to those pleading with Ontario Premier Doug Ford to keep Crown Royal on shelves.
You know, I encouraged working together as provinces. I've encouraged, addressing interprovincial trade barriers that we've spoken about for a long time. Let's work together. Let's not pick fights with each other, and let's do what's best for Ontario workers and Manitoba workers.
Con has sent Ford a letter asking him to reconsider his call to clear the Gimli-made whiskey from Ontario's liquor stores, pointing to the potential for job losses. He joins a chorus of other Manitoba politicians, including Premier Wab Kinew, MP James Bazan and PC MLA Derek Johnson, in asking Ford to keep the booze available through the LCBO. However, Ford, as recently as Thursday, has defended the plan and said he won't back down. Ford's decision is in response to manufacturer Diageo moving its bottling plant from Ontario to the United States. A Manitoba man has reeled in a big catch.
When you get a big fish on, you can tell right away, and it pulls out. It almost bailed.
Colin Lee Grand was ice fishing with a friend last Monday at Sandy Bar Beach near Riverton. Lee Grand says they managed to snag a few walleyes before he felt a big bite, and he hauled in the mother load.
You can imagine this fish was a little over 45 inches long, and we're fishing out of an 8-inch hole. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden this fish, and believe it or not, this fish's head could barely make it in the hole.
Lee Grant says the northern pike is the biggest fish he's ever caught. He estimates it's 25 to 30 years old. He loves the reaction he's gotten from friends and family since hauling it in, and even submitted a photo to Manitoba's Master Angler Awards. As for the fish's fate, he let it go, meaning other fishers will also have a shot at this big one. Congratulations to him. Here's a look at what's happening now at Main and Broadway. It looks like a smooth start to your Monday morning drive. No issues to tell you about at this point. If you see issues, text them to us, please, at 10400. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who is hanging out with some dogs today. Good morning.
Rochelle, good morning. I'm having the best morning so far. 6 or 7 dogs came running in, and I said, oh my goodness, I'm trying to count them. We're at Harness Adventures, by the way. How many are there? And Marc-Andre says, well, we have 22, but in our world, that's actually not too many. We're going to be dog sledding all morning long, learning about the history, the rich history in Manitoba, and how it's internationally renowned. We're also going to be learning about the practical uses for dog sledding and how it's evolved over the years. We're also going to be getting on one and learning about some of the commands and how they're harnessed as well. I'm not exactly sure what this one's name is, but it is so sweet.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. Look how good they are. Look at this one. One more. Oh, I can't. I'm overstimulated.
I'm sure you are. Okay, we'll check in a little later. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's going to be a good day to do some mushing.
I think my hair is overstimulated. Sorry, I'm just like getting a first look at it. The heatless curls did not help last night. Okay, sorry folks. Listen to what I'm saying and not looking at my hair. Sorry, let's not get distracted. It's -6 degrees out here with that wind chill. Feels more like -13. It's pretty clear. The winds are picking up out of the west at 19 kilometers per hour. Pressure is falling. Humidity sits at 88%. I look like Temple Grandin. Like, what are we doing? Okay, so in terms of our sky conditions, we're starting off clear. We're going to see some clouds build into the afternoon for a mix of sun and cloud. We do have a slight chance of some freezing drizzle today and tonight in southern Manitoba, but that risk really intensifies into tomorrow with that sun or snow rather mixed in, likely with some freezing rain throughout the day. Temperatures today very warm. In Winnipeg, we're looking at 2 degrees. -14 is typical. Lord knows we're doing well. To the north, overcast, periods of snowfall for you. I misspoke last hit. Your temperatures are considerably warmer than last week, into the mid to upper minus teens, so enjoy those conditions. I'm going to take a break and fix my ugly hair, but stay with us. So much more Your Morning Winnipeg just ahead.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Good morning. The Manitoba government says Ottawa's move to reduce international student allocations has created financial strain for post-secondary institutions in the province. Advanced Education Minister Renee Cable says since the federal government announced cuts in 2024, the province has heard from schools that there have been steep declines in international student enrollment, resulting in plummeting revenues. Officials say Manitoba's international student allocations have dropped 40% since last year, from about 18,500 to just over 11,000. The province says it will continue working with post-secondary leaders and federal officials to address the effects of the cuts. The City of Winnipeg's new rules for homeless encampments went into effect November 17th. They prohibit camps from setting up near playgrounds, schools, transit shelters, bridges, and rail crossings. And on Friday, the city provided a first look of enforcement numbers so far. 12 camps have been cleared out since the protocols were put in place, and many other camps are being monitored, according to a report shared with Council's Community Services Committee. The report also says a total of 30 sites have been remediated. City staff note some camps only took an hour or so to clean up, while others took several days. The report also says bylaw enforcement officers have completed 72 on-site inspections since November 17th and have posted more than 115 signs. Calgary officials continue to call on residents to conserve water as they work on getting a freshly repaired water main back online after the latest in a series of catastrophic ruptures.
We are not out of the woods yet. Once we are in a position to repressurize the pipe, there's still a risk of another failure. We are actively monitoring the system and are prepared to respond very quickly if that happens. But this will be the new reality until we can fully replace the full 6-kilometer pipe, which is terminally ill.
The feeder main is being refilled slowly to reduce the risk of the pipe breaking again. Next, the water will be tested to ensure it's safe before increasing the pressure. Officials say they're aiming to ease restrictions on water use in the coming days, but further restrictions will be needed for more significant infrastructure work later on. She's a little goofy, but when she's working, she gets the job done. Police dogs can find drugs, bombs, cash, and guns. But this canine you're about to meet is unique. She can find electronic devices related to child exploitation. It's a first in Manitoba. And as CTV's Harrison Shin explains, she can also bring comfort to humans.
She really doesn't bark. She's very quiet.
She may be quiet, sometimes a little goofball, but when she's working, she can find cell phones, USBs, memory cards, and others with the Internet Child Exploitation Unit. Say hello to Willow. And as her badge shows, she is the first electronic storage device detection dog in the Winnipeg Police and in Manitoba.
Willow is the 6th dog in Canada to be trained to do electronic storage device detection. The first 5 are all in Ontario. She was number 6 in Manitoba. Let's go.
Sergeant Carrie Webb of the Winnipeg Police Service is Willow's main handler. She says Willow joined the team in June 2025 and is already making a difference. Willow has been involved in more than 10 warrants and sniffed out more than 80 devices.
It's definitely having an impact for our unit. It's faster, and she's finding the things that our suspects most don't want us to find.
Webb says Willow is trained to sniff a specific chemical that all electronic storage devices have. She's also a fully certified comfort dog, bringing a calm vibe to anyone who needs it.
She curls up on the couch sort of as she is now. Often her head will be in their lap. She's often giving kisses on the cheek. She's a very, like I said, a calming, special presence.
Webb says Willow will continue to do what she is best at, and she hopes for a long career.
We are so happy that she's come to us. I'm so proud of her every single day. Yeah, she's just been such a great addition.
Harrison Shin, CTV News. Winnipeg.
She's so cute. Well, visitors to the Living Prairie Museum on Saturday took a lesson on how animals survive the winter peg. The museum kicked off 2026 with its Animals in Winter program, teaching visitors how local species survive the winter. Visitors learned about migration, hibernation, and winter survival strategies inside the museum's interpretive center. Outside, people took part in a scavenger hunt to find hints of wildlife, from deer and rabbit tracks to Volt tunnels under the snow. The museum's curator, Marika Olenek, says sometimes visitors can even see coyote tracks too.
The important thing is we don't always see those animals, but we see their signs, and we're sharing this habitat with them, right? It's really fun to just imagine what those animals are doing in the winter and know that our animal relatives are out there surviving the winter just like we are.
Olenek says visitors' reaction has been positive, adding that offering a chance to learn and try something new has been a good way to attract people. The museum offers drop-in programs every Saturday, such as snowshoeing and indoor programming. More information can be found on the museum's website.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. Following the rush, the southbound curb lane on Main will be closed from St. Mary Avenue to York. On Inkster Boulevard, the westbound curb lane will be closed between Bunting and Milner. And the westbound curb lane on Springfield will be closed from Bryan to Henderson. If you have any other traffic tips, text them to us, please.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution.
A clear and pleasant start to your day and your week. -6 degrees out there in Winnipeg, -13 with that wind chill. Not a ton of cloud coverage in the sky to kick us off. Winds are out of the west at 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling. Humidity sits at 88%. So temperatures very warm to kick off the day, and we'll be picking up even warmer from here. And it's a far cry from what we were even seeing last week, because while we had some above seasonal highs, we were starting off on some days on pretty frigid notes. Not the case here. We're at 0 in Dauphin and Morden, a few degrees cooler for us here in Winnipeg at -6, Gimli at -3, Brandon though quite a bit cooler at -13. I majorly misspoke in my first weather hit, blame the Monday morning fogginess of it all. Northern Manitoba is in store for a very warm day, even warmer than last week. I was saying it was likely going to be a few degrees cooler, but no, you're almost going to be on par with values we're seeing here in Winnipeg, and that's evidenced by those currents right now, very similar and in some areas warmer. warmer. That wind chill not much of a factor except in those very northerly portions like -31 in Churchill and -24 in Gillam, As the kids head out to school, don't need to bundle them too harshly. -2 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud, warming up a little bit as they take lunch and hovering at 0 as they head home. That's when a slight risk of mixed precipitation, freezing drizzle rolls in. But if you can believe it, we're getting even warmer, likely into the evening hours at 2 degrees. Not losing much heat overnight. And then into tomorrow, a good chance of some freezing drizzle or snow with another above seasonal high of 1 degree. A gorgeous shot snapped by Roy in Winnipeg of that lovely frost backlit by the sunset, And if you've got any weather pictures to share, email them to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Hey ho, snap a pic for your chance to win with our Best in Fest contest. Festival du Voyageur returns February 13th to the 22nd, and we want to see how you're gearing up, whether it's snowshoeing, beard growing, or building a snow fort, whatever it is, we want to see it. Upload your photo to our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, or post it to social media using the hashtag BestInFestContest. Weekly winners will be selected to win a 4-pack of passes to Festival du Voyageur. Around 65,000 people attended the opening day of an ice fishing festival in South Korea. People bundled up to participate in the festivities, but some brave souls did some barehanded fishing in icy water in t-shirts and shorts. The festival has become one of the most celebrated events of South Korea's winter tourism season since it was launched in 2003. And this year, so far, it's drawn around 3,200 foreign tourists. The festival runs until February the 1st. It appears more secondary suites are being built in Winnipeg. Numbers show more of these additions to existing properties, known as granny suites, are going up. And as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, many of them could soon be springing up off back lanes.
Crowd has owned this rental property in River Heights for 24 years. And now something new is going to rise behind the home.
There's very little vacancy here. And so I feel like there'll be a lot of interest.
Crowd is planning on building a 2-car garage in the backyard with 650 square feet of living space above. A secondary suite off the back lane, also known as a granny suite.
So we're getting revenue from my original property, and now we'll be getting additional revenue from the back lane suite.
For nearly 2 decades, the city has been promoting these types of additions to increase affordable housing options in existing neighborhoods. Uptake hasn't always been strong, but numbers from recent years show a gradual rise in the construction of these secondary suites. 103 in 2022, 136 in 2023, 157 in 2024, and 203 in 2025. Dwell Design Builders, which specializes in infill housing, now has a subdivision dedicated to this, after they say the city brought in new rules aimed at making it easier to build secondary suites.
Basically what we're doing is offering a detached living space in the rear yard of a property.
Company president Braden Heinen says they have 3 typical clients asking about this: those who want to earn extra money from their property, families who want their elderly parents to live close by, and parents with older kids still living at home.
Perhaps can't afford to get into something, but still want their own space. Parents want them out.
But there are other homeowners who might not appreciate the added density to the property next door over concerns like traffic and preserving the character of the area. Miles Kraut says he understands those concerns.
I do feel that anytime there's a new home or a new build, it increases the property value of everyone around it.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Coming up, we're going to show you a little bit more about Ainsley and some dogs that are mushing. Here's a look at what's happening now on Portage Avenue. It looks like things are moving well. Stay with us for more.
Taking a look outside right now, it's looking pretty calm out there. Clear skies, currently -6 degrees. That wind chill just cooling us down a few degrees from there. Winds decently strong out of the west at 19 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity sitting at 89%. So we're going to start off on a clear note. Clouds will be joining us as evidenced by our radar here. You can see a good amount coming in from the west or southwest Manitoba, already dealing with some of that. We also have a slight chance of some freezing drizzle today. Only about a 30% shot, so likely it's going to be a mix of sun and cloud within a very warm and above seasonal high of 2 degrees. Minus 13 or minus 14 is more what's typical. Winds, meanwhile, out of the southwest, they'll be shifting at 20 kilometers per hour. Overnight, we still have that slight chance of that mixed precipitation. Likely, though, it's just going to be decently cloudy with temperatures barely moving. Some models have it even getting a bit warmer than what we're seeing today at 2 degrees. One is what I'm looking at, and those winds ramping up out of the northwest at 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow, a low pressure system, the one that's causing that risk of mixed precipitation, is a good likelihood of showing up for us here in Winnipeg tomorrow. So expect flurry activity, maybe that freezing drizzle. A high of 1 degree, though, so still very warm for this time of year, and those winds still strong out of the northwest. Midweek, we get a bit of a cool down, a drastic one for us, minus 15 degrees with mainly clear sunny skies. But as evidenced by the overnight conditions, we're not losing a lot of heat. In fact, we're gaining a lot. By Thursday, we're back to minus 1 degree under that snowfall.
Thanks, Catherine. Police have arrested a man they say is responsible for several instances of hate-related graffiti in the city, including at a synagogue and high school. Investigators allege the 34-year-old suspect tagged 14 different properties during a vandalism spree early last Friday. That spree, including spray painting swastikas outside of Sherry Zedek Synagogue, Kelvin High School, an entrance to Munson Park, and Abu Bakr al-Siddiq Mosque.
It wasn't just property that was damaged. A message of hate was sent to a faith community, to families, and to an entire city.
Inspector Jennifer McKinnon alleges the suspect also tagged homes, garages, and vehicles that morning. McKinnon says some of the locations were tagged with messages or words that were, quote, not indicative of hate. She credits community members for reporting graffiti and submitting surveillance video. McKinnon says police arrested the suspect without incident Thursday.
This arrest matters. Not just because the law was broken, but because our community deserves to know that actions like this will be confronted and answered with justice.
34-year-old Oliver Ederhoff has been charged with 14 counts of mischief under $5,000 and obstructing enjoyment. He hasn't been charged with hate crimes. However, police are consulting with the Manitoba Prosecution Service to figure out possible motives for the crime. Ederhoff has been released from custody with conditions. None of the charges have been tested in court. A trial starts today at the BC Supreme Court on religious exemptions to Canada's assisted dying law.
The main argument is that institutions, buildings do not have freedom of religion rights or conscience rights. Individuals do, but not institutions.
In 2023, a 34-year-old Sam O'Neill was transferred out of a Catholic-run hospital to carry out her medical assistance in dying request. Her family, along with Dying with Dignity Canada, have launched a charter challenge against an exemption allowing faith-based organizations to opt out of providing assisted dying. They're arguing people should be able to access the health care they need at a publicly funded hospital. Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne is in Washington today to talk trade. Minister Champagne is set to meet with his G7 counterparts and others to discuss critical minerals and supply chains. The meeting is being hosted by the U.S. Treasury Secretary. Last month, Champagne had said it's time to move on the extraction and refining of critical minerals in Canada. He also says Canada can help Europe move away from its dependence on China for critical minerals. In Los Angeles, one person has been detained after driving a truck through a crowd of protesters who were marching in support of Iranian people. Protesters scrambled to get out of the way of the speeding truck. Then some people started chasing the truck, eventually surrounding it and smashing its windows. The driver was detained. Police say one person was hit by the truck, but no one was seriously hurt. 2 people were evaluated by paramedics and both declined treatment. Some popular attractions around the city are temporarily closed or closing for some early spring cleaning. The Canadian Museum for Human Rights closed on Sunday for maintenance work. The museum says staff and contractors will be busy conducting inspections, making repairs, and cleaning those hard-to-reach places. The CMHR will reopen to the public on Tuesday, January 20th. Meantime, Assiniboine Park Zoo's annual maintenance work is taking a little longer than expected. The zoo was supposed to reopen Saturday following a few days of deep cleaning and repair work. However, zoo staff say an unexpected maintenance issue is pushing back the reopening until January 17th. And the biomes at the Leaf are also closed between January 12th and 14th for a display change. Winnipeg's Operation Red Nose has wrapped up another successful holiday campaign. The Safe Ride program kicked off November 28th and ran through the new year. Operation Red Nose provided 1,516 rides to Manitobans who chose not to get behind the wheel. The service credits the 1,347 volunteers that pitched in this year. Over $30,000 was raised for youth organizations. The Winnipeg Jets were looking to make it 2 wins in a row as the New Jersey Devils paid a visit to Canada Life Centre Sunday afternoon. The first period was scoreless until just over a minute remaining when Alex Iafallo takes advantage of some traffic in front of the New Jersey net and bangs this one in, making it 1-0 Jets. Before the period ends, the Devils tie it up at 1 apiece, then on to the second with the Devils ahead by 1. Jonathan Taves gets credit for the goal, and the teams are tied at 2. Into the third period with the Jets and Devils tied at 3, and with just under 14 minutes left, Tanner Pearson scores for Winnipeg to make it 4-3, and that's how this one ends. Gabriel Velarde also notched a goal in this game to help power the Jets to victory. Their first back-to-back win since mid-November. Winnipeg next sees action at home against the Islanders Tuesday. Game time is 7 p.m. Here's a look at what's happening now in traffic at Confusion Corner. You can see things are slowly picking up in this part of the city, but overall moving well. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you see any issues out there, let us know. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.24. The provincial average is lower at $1.16. In Winnipeg, the average is also $1.16. And the lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.07. All this information is on GasBuddy.com. And here's a look at Ainsley getting a lot of love from these pups. We're going to find out how they have really important jobs and how much they love it. We'll be right back.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
A clear and present and pleasant start to your Monday. You can tell how present I am. Monday morning, folks. It's -6 degrees. That wind chill making it feel more like -13. Clear as mentioned. A good amount of sky coverage. Not showing a lot of stars. Nice to see that this hour. Winds out of the west at 19 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling. Humidity sitting at 88%. So let's start at the north and work our way down. Northern Manitoba, very mild temperatures on the way for you. You're looking at highs in the mid to upper minus single digits. So considering areas like Thompson are used to seeing like -20 degrees as their highs, we're doing pretty darn well. But there will likely be a good amount of snowfall coming your way, a couple centimeters worth, about 2 to 4 between today and tonight. For us here in southern Manitoba, a mix of sun and cloud. We do have a slight chance of freezing drizzle. Temperatures also very favorable. Above 2 degrees in Winnipeg. -13 is what's typical. Winds will ramp up overnight out of the northwest as that freezing drizzle risk persists. And then tomorrow, another warm day ahead, but likely we will get that mixed precipitation. Let's head on over to Ainsley McPhail, who's probably having a better day than you, I'm just going to guess.
Catherine, they're going to be saying at home, is she with dogs every single day? And then I'm going to have to tell you guys, today is different. It's a whole new day. We're talking about dog sledding, and particularly in this segment, sorry, there's dogs everywhere right now. Particularly in this segment, we're talking about the history of it. Marc-Andre joins me from Harness Adventures. So thank you for joining us this morning. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Yeah, so here we offer a dog sledding experience. On our property, and so we host people in this building here. We meet the dogs, and then we go dog sledding not long after. But before that, we talk about a bit of the history and what it is to be within the context of Manitoba, what dog sledding is all about. So we elaborate going into the 19th century what it would be like to be dog sledding back then.
Mm-hmm. And you walk us through that evolution too. You tell us about the deep-rooted Indigenous history, and you really tell us about the timeline.
Yeah, so I had the chance to go into the archives a couple of years back here, and I picked the pictures that I preferred, and so we go back as far back in these pictures as the 1830s, and we essentially We talk about what it would be like and what dog sledding would be used for back then, and how it kind of evolves over time and going into the 1920s, and how the equipment evolves and what people why people would use dogs, and oftentimes numbers of dogs, and how people would probably have to feed certain amount of dogs, and would probably limit the number of dogs that they would be using for travel across the lakes, across the prairies.
Notable figures too.
Yeah, well, Emile Saint-Gaudens is somebody that very few people know about, but he's a well-renowned racer of the early 20th century, and it's a guy that we talk about. Most famously won the Winter Olympics of 1932, and beats a well-known musher from the U.S. by the name of Leonard Sapella. So he's the Manitoban beats out the American on this one.
Fascinating. Okay, guys, stay with us. Why? More dogs.
Here's a look at the early markets. The Dow Jones lost 375 points. The Nasdaq is down 222 points. The S&P index dipped 44 points. The Canadian dollar rose slightly to 72.4 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng added 376 points, and the Nikkei jumped 822 points. Good morning. It is 6:46. Statistics Canada is reporting modest job growth in our province for the month of December. Manitoba's unemployment rate dropped 4 points to 5.7% last month compared to a month earlier. The data shows about 4,000 more people were working full-time jobs in December. Manitoba's unemployment rate was a full percentage point below the national average, which ticked up slightly to 6.8%. An aviation history museum in Westman is celebrating a significant legacy donation courtesy of a passionate lifelong member. Organizers with the Commonwealth Air Training Plan Museum in Brandon have received a $1.6 million gift from the late John Balushak. The museum says the retired Manitoba hydro engineer, who passed away in 2024, humbly and quietly supported the museum ever since it was founded in the early 1980s. His dedication helped ensure future generations could learn about Canada's contributions in training Commonwealth pilots for the war effort and the legacy of the people involved.
When he passed, he decided that the story we were doing was too important to be forgotten and that we needed the support, and he made a legacy gift to us of $1.6 million, which really is a foundational gift that will make sure that for the next 40 years we're here and still telling the story.
The museum plans to use the money to help preserve aircraft, archives, artifacts, and the building itself for years to come. Some major developments on the conflict ripping through Iran right now. Late Sunday, President Donald Trump says Iran reached out to the U.S. and pitched negotiations after he threatened action in response to the nationwide crackdown on demonstrators.
Iran wants to negotiate, yes. We may meet with them. I mean, a meeting is being set up, but we may have to act because of what's happening before the meeting. But a meeting is being set up. Iran called, they want to negotiate.
Demonstrations were held in several Canadian cities, including Winnipeg, in solidarity with the Iranian people. In Ottawa, a large crowd gathered in the shadow of Parliament Hill, calling on the federal government to support the people of Iran. The situation in Iran growing more dire, with reports that more than 500 people have now been killed, numbers yet to be verified due to the blackout. A week after removing Venezuela's president from power and moving to take over that country's oil industry, U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a fresh threat against Cuba. The U.S. president posting a message on Truth Social that reads in part, quote, "There will be no more oil or money going to Cuba. Zero. I strongly suggest they make a deal before it is too late." Venezuela is Cuba's biggest oil supplier, but no oil cargo has left the South American country for Cuba since the U.S. operation to seize Nicolas Maduro. New research from Hungary and Austria suggests dogs can learn by eavesdropping.
We've seen in the past that dogs have very strong social skills in other contexts, and we know that dogs can learn from their owners' demonstrations. But this is the first time that we see a specific group of dogs that are really able to learn specific words, or specific labels from overhearing interactions.
One of the experiments involved owners talking to another person about a new toy while the dog watched. The dog wasn't addressed, given a command, or offered a reward. They were just asked to sit and stay. Later, the new toy was placed among more familiar ones, and the dogs were asked to grab the unfamiliar toy. 7 of the 10 dogs in the group were able to do this. The dogs in the experiment were ones considered gifted word learners, like Border Collies and Labrador Retrievers. Fascinating. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. Following the rush, the southbound curb lane on Main will be closed from St. Mary Avenue to York. On Inkster Boulevard, the westbound curb lane will be closed between Bunting and Milner. And the westbound curb lane on Springfield will be closed from Bryan to Henderson. If you have any other traffic tips, please text them to us at 10400.
It's a lovely start to your Monday and your week. It's -6 degrees out there with that wind chill. Feels more like -13. Clear, slightly windy with westerly winds at 19 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity sitting at 88%. So yes, not just here, all throughout Manitoba, we're dealing with above seasonal values. However, our sky conditions will be a bit all over the place, as will some of those conditions from the sky. So in terms of that, we're talking about potential for flurry activity. A good shot of it coming to the northeast. Temperatures, though, well above seasonal. I want to say Thompson, typical high -20, considering -8. It is just going to be a lovely one, so get out and enjoy. -14 in Gillam. Churchill likely going to be excluded from that flurry activity with a high of -18 with a mix of sun and cloud. And Island Lake just -2 degrees. Northwestern Ontario or Manitoba, even warmer temperatures if you can believe it. You'll likely get that flurry activity off and on throughout the day. Likely light snow. Flin Flon at 0, Pasquiac Cree Nation at 3, Norway House -2, Lynn Lake, a balmy -3 degrees. Southwestern Manitoba, likely you're going to be dealing with a mix of sun and cloud, though you too have a slight chance of some freezing drizzle or mixed precipitation to some degree. 2 in Swan River, 4 in Dauphin, and 2 in Brennan and Ipoh there across the board under that mix of sun and cloud. Very similar temperatures for us here. 3 degrees though in Portage la Prairie could be the hot spot of the province. Barons River though has a shot of getting some precipitation today. Northwestern Ontario hovering at around the freezing mark. Could be some mixed precipitation coming to most of this stretch, but for the likelihood in Kenora, it's going to be sunny and lovely. For us here in Winnipeg, overnight, we're just barely moving in terms of our mercury. 1 degree with that risk of freezing drizzle continuing, but it intensifies into tomorrow. We're likely to get some mixed precipitation with a mix of sun and cloud, more cloudy periods into the afternoon, a very warm high of 1 degree.
Thanks, Catherine. Let's check in now on the crew at 103.1 Virgin Radio. Hi, guys. Happy Monday.
Hey, happy Monday. How are you doing?
I'm well.
Chrissy will join us. She was just doing a quick weather. She's coming in right now.
Okay.
But we wanted to talk about the time of season it is. So it's that time of season where it gets a little warmer, gets dirty outside, and you get that, we don't know what to call it. That's the whole thing about it. It's that stuff that collects on your wheel well on your vehicle.
That's right, because we know it's 2 degrees today, right?
Yeah.
1 degree tomorrow. We're getting that freezing rain, so it's like Manitoba's favorite pastime is kicking that snow out of the wheel wells. And so we were doing it last week on my own car.
I love it. So satisfying.
Right. I think everybody does. So I was saying I think it's called snog. We think it has an actual name, like it actually has a name. I thought it was snog. Lloyd, you thought we called it...
I thought it was snarf. I thought it came up before, and I thought we landed on snarf, but I'm not 100% sure.
Rochelle, what do you call it?
I call it wobbly tires because it always affects my drive on the highway when it's really hard and icy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really have a word.
We posted it.
Yeah, we put it out to the public, and there was car poop. Okay, so that came up a few times.
Did it really?
Also, diarrhea.
Oh my gosh.
That's what people call it. Snert was a big one. That came up a lot. So snow and dirt.
Okay.
Snuggers.
Yeah.
I think this is a play on boogers.
Right.
Snard came in.
Snard. I really think it's snard. Anyway, keep going.
Snow dragons or dragon tooth, because I guess that kind of look like a tooth.
Okay.
Sludge fudge. Okay. We have clunkers, kickables.
Yeah.
Schmuck,
Oh,
fender bugs, and snart.
Snart.
I think it is a word that has an SN to it.
Yeah.
So the snart, the scarf, and whatever the other one was that you said.
I kind of like car boogers, to be honest.
Well,
And
thanks,
you don't
you
pick
guys.
them, you kick them.
and make sure it's soft enough to kick. All right, thank you. Well, if you hop into an Uber or Lyft, drivers will sometimes offer you an extra, like a bottle of water or the use of a phone charger. But one man in Toronto is upping the experience with lights, glasses, and a mic. Here's CTV's John Venivalle-Rao.
This is my car.
The famous car.
Famous car.
Rideshare driver Bakir Ozil showed us his Kia Niro, which as many fans have never seen from the outside, because it's what happens inside.
Do you want to see lights? This is light.
That's turned him into a social media celebrity.
I love it because it's changed my energy. It's energy. People are happy. I'm happy.
Ozil is originally from Turkey and immigrated to Canada about a decade ago. The father of 3 couldn't speak English, which limited what he could do for work.
I came here. I do different job, but my body has sickness.
He says a health problem 2 years ago nearly killed him. Then last summer, while working as a rideshare driver,
My oldest daughter gave me this one.
he was given this karaoke mic, which sparked an idea. He selectively asked passengers if they wanted to sing, and you can see the result.
They are giving crazy reaction. One girl gave me, "Shut up! I love it! No way!" You like music?
During a ride, Ozil started surprising passengers in and around Toronto, asking them first to choose a song. Unexpectedly, lights then come on. Then he hands out those mics and glowing glasses. The passengers are asked if they're okay with being filmed as they take part in a karaoke party.
Everybody tell me you made my day.
Are you the Trip Man? Known as the Trip Man, he's now got almost 1 million subscribers on Instagram, and he gets recognized by total strangers. But says he hasn't actually made much money because Instagram doesn't pay creators.
Each month, watch my videos, 50 million, but zero money. Zero money. It's okay.
Working as a driver to help support his family, also says the karaoke was never about making cash, but rather to spread good vibes, to be loving and thankful, and never forget to have fun. John Venivalle-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, that looks cool, and I'm sure there's people driving and singing at the same time right now on McPhillip Street. We'll be right back after this short break. It's Monday, January the 12th. Today, Iran protests intensify. Supporters gather in Winnipeg amid reports of arrests and blocked connections. Plus, CAF deploys north. Military teams arrive as Pimicikamak faces water, power, and health risks. And pike of a lifetime, how one massive ice fishing catch is turning heads in Manitoba. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Monday to you. It is 7 a.m. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. At about 7:52, we're going to tell you about a workshop that is happening on Wednesday, and it's all about the Save Our Sane initiative and some of the things and some of the businesses that are being invited to this workshop so that they can come up with strategies to really mitigate climate change and its effects on the river. So we're going to find out a little bit more about that. But certainly climate change yesterday, we felt it with that freezing rain in the middle of January.
I know, it's so strange. Yes, January, we're used to that punishing wind chill conditions and likely some very strong sunshine to go with it. However, we've been just kind of getting a little bit all over the place in terms of our conditions, fueled by some unseasonably warm temperatures that are going to be continuing for part of the week, but we do have a cool down coming. I'll have details about that in a moment, but currently it is mild and lovely out there, -6 degrees, the wind chill making it feel more like -13. Clear and breezy with westerly winds at 19 kilometers per hour, pressure falling falling. Humidity sits at 88%. So yes, northern Manitoba, you're starting off on a cloudy note, and likely you'll be dealing with a good amount of flurry activity today, while we here in southern Manitoba, clear to start, but the clouds will build for us as well. Our Futurecast paints a picture of how the day will unfold. So there's the cloud coverage I'm talking about in northern Manitoba. We keep an eye on this system here that's pushing in. You can see that blue snowfall, likely bringing snowfall off and on throughout northern Manitoba today and tonight. About 2 to 4 centimeters worth could be falling. Then here, that green, because of our warm temperatures, likely showing up as rain or freezing drizzle. It could be coming to the southwest into the late afternoon or early evening, and then fans out through us into tomorrow. So we're likely to see that freezing drizzle into tomorrow. This model shows us clipping through overnight, though Environment and Climate Change Canada predicts we only have a slight chance of it coming today, and it's more likely we're going to get that rain falling tomorrow with those very mild above seasonal values. To the tune of today, we're looking at a high of just 2 degrees. If my graphics would hurry up, there we go, 2 degrees. Minus 13 is a typical high. We are well off that mark and have been for a number of days. We're not moving too much in terms of our temperatures overnight to 1, and then tomorrow with that mixed precipitation, we're even getting up to 1 degree once again before a cool down midweek. Your weather art of the day, just a gorgeous drawing, and I should say this is also paper mache, I believe, from Kingsley. Thanks so much for creating that and submitting it. And if you have any pictures of your kids' weather-themed artwork, please send them our way, because we're featuring one every day here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Just email your entries to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
More than 100 people gathered at the Manitoba legislature on Sunday in support of protesters in Iran. This came after activists said at least 538 people were killed, with even more feared dead during nationwide protests over economic uncertainty. Protests were happening in 185 cities, with more than 10,000 people detained, according to U.S.-based human rights activist news agency. Co-organizer Bahar Jafari Jozani in Winnipeg said with Iranian regime blocking international calls and internet access, it is getting difficult to get in touch with relatives in Iran.
We're scared, right, because you have no news, you don't know how they're doing. They've also cut down the electricity as well, so they don't have no phone connection, no internet, no light. All that is definitely affecting their day-to-day life as well, so it's definitely scary for everyone.
Jozani said people are defying the internet blockade by using Starlink. The crowd at the legislature was waving the lion and sun flag, a flag used by the Pahlavi dynasty before the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The demonstrations hit the 2-week mark on Sunday. Pimicikamak Cree Nation's Chief David Monia says 7 members of the Canadian Armed Forces are to arrive at the Northern First Nation today. In a social media post on Sunday, Chief Monia said members are to provide technical assistance, assessments, and support for critical infrastructure and recovery efforts. He said plumbers and other workers are also arriving to help with water and electrical issues, but the community is having a tough time finding them adequate washrooms and shower facilities. Monia said some workers who are already in the community are getting sick due to lack of clean water. Originally, he said 8 CAF members were coming, but the number was corrected to 7. The Northern First Nation learned early this month that a days-long power outage had left its homes and buildings with frozen water systems, sewer backups, electrical issues, and burst pipes. The Manitoba government says Ottawa's move to reduce international student allocations has created financial strain for post-secondary institutions in the province. Advanced Education Minister Renee Cable says since the federal government announced cuts in 2024, the province has heard from schools that there have been steep declines in international student enrollment, resulting in plummeting revenues. Officials say Manitoba's international student allocations have dropped 40% since last year, from about 18,500 to just over 11,000. The province says it will continue working with post-secondary leaders and federal officials to address the effects of the cuts. As U.S. President Donald Trump continues to insist the U.S. needs to own Greenland, Canada's security and sovereignty in the Arctic is once again front and center. Federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre told the BC crowd how he'd handle the issue. CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports.
Inside a BC town hall this weekend, a pitch from federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre on how to protect Canada's Arctic.
We have to be there. We have to dominate our sea, sky, and soil. Hi, Mr. Polyev. My name is
Asked by a constituent how Canada should protect its sovereignty and legal interests in the region in the face of a Trump administration pushing to take Greenland to gain strategic influence in the north, Polyev pushed for an increased presence.
We have not had an Arctic base since the Cold War. We need 3 of them in order to have the capability of projecting power and security.
We need a new conservative government.
During last year's federal election campaign, Polyev promised to build at least 1 Arctic base in Iqaluit if elected.
Part of the aim, from my perspective, of the U.S. saber rattling with respect to Greenland is to get Europe and, frankly, ourselves to move.
This former NATO commander says Trump's talk shouldn't change Canada's strategy, but it could accelerate it.
We need to continue the program that we have underway, which is to establish surveillance from the seabed to space. And that's and several projects lean into that.
Carney's Liberal government also recently appointed a new Arctic ambassador, will open new consulates in Alaska and Greenland, and has promised to enhance its military presence in the north. While Polyev's comments to a room of BC constituents comes ahead of a party convention at the end of the month, where he'll face a leadership review.
I think he'll be able to pivot out of the convention and to start presenting himself to Canadians as an option to be prime minister. And he'll start talking about broader themes, broader issues about Canada's place in the world, Arctic sovereignty.
Polyev's leadership review is a result of the party's failure to win the last election, which per the Conservative Constitution triggers a mandatory review. Party insiders expect he'll get significant support and remain leader.
Astronomers are on cloud 9 over this discovery. Cloud 9 is the nickname of a recently discovered object in space. It's a dark matter cloud that could be left over from the formation of a galaxy. Dark matter is theorized to make up as much of 85% of the universe, but no one has actually detected it. It's hoped cloud 9 will lead to greater understanding of dark matter. Very cool. All right, here's a look at what's happening now at Kenaston and Sterling Lion Way. Things are moving well here to start off this Monday morning. If you see any problems out on the streets, please text them to us when it is safe to do so.
Shopify is expanding its artificial intelligence capabilities, allowing merchants to sell products directly on Google and Microsoft's AI platforms. On Sunday, the company announced a new protocol that would enable AI-native shopping on Google Search and the Gemini app. Merchants will be able to sell to customers as part of an embedded AI experience, all while managing their store on Shopify's admin platform. Shopify is also rolling out an update to its Copilot integration that will allow users to shop and check out directly on Microsoft's platform. The National Basketball Association is preparing to pitch investors on a new European league targeting team valuations of up to $1 billion as it readies a pair of regular season games in London and Berlin. Both cities are likely to host a team in a league that could debut as early as next year, according to people familiar with the matter who asked not to be identified because the information is private. The project would include 12 franchises and 4 additional teams that qualify for the competition without owning equity. The NBA would retain a 50% stake in the league. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We're talking about mushing and dog sledding and how it's really a fun sport. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. Well, look where we're living. It's the perfect place for it. And the couple that runs Harness Adventures, they spent several years in the north, and now we're in Richer. So stay with us throughout the morning. I'm going to be learning some of the commands and meeting some of the dogs, including 4 brand new puppies. Another interesting little tidbit is that these dogs are named after Manitoba figures. So coming up in this hour, we're going to be playing Match the Historical Manitoba Figure to the Dog. We're also going to be learning how to effectively harness them. Rochelle, you mentioned the sport of it all, but also coming here, it is about the experience and hanging out with the animals. You guys have to go to my Instagram story. I was cracking up earlier. Cameraman Kenny was rubbing the dog's head, and the dog was just doing this.
And so was Kenny, by the way, I'm sure. All right, well, thank you, Ainsley.
Exactly.
Let's go out to the rooftop. It's kind of one of those mornings where it's Monday and you just kind of want to take your time waking up today.
That dog is me internally, just like done with the day. I'm not done with the day. I shouldn't say that. It's so lovely outside, Rochelle, but I was up late watching the Golden Globes last night, so my fatigue is real, but I'm being invigorated by these gorgeous temperatures. It's -6, and with that wind chill, it's just barely in effect, making it feel more like -11. 1 or 2 clouds starting to build. Those winds have eased a bit since last hour out of the west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity sits at 88%. So we're tracking a low pressure system that could be bringing some mixed precipitation to us today in southern Manitoba. But the likelihood is it'll come to the southwest late this afternoon or overnight, and we will get it tomorrow. So today it'll be a mix of sun and cloud. Very favorable temperatures, above freezing, above seasonal. For us in Winnipeg, it's 2 degrees, and all throughout southern Manitoba, very similar values expected. Northern Manitoba, also some downright balmy temperatures for this time of year in the minus single digits. And with that, you are getting a good chance of some snowfall. About 2 to 4 centimeters worth between today and tonight could be coming your way. For us here in Winnipeg, that mixed precipitation likely tomorrow could be causing some issues with the roadways. Another warm high, though, on Tuesday of 1 degree before we get a cool down on Wednesday with just a high of -15.
Thank you, Catherine. It's time now for our question of the day. The Golden Globes were on last night, so we want to know who was your favorite winner at last night's Golden Globes Awards. You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response, and don't forget to include your name, please. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way, please. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. This is what it looks like outside right now. It's a gorgeous start to your Monday morning. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. The City of Winnipeg's new rules for homeless encampments went into effect November 17th. They prohibit camps from setting up near playgrounds, schools, transit shelters, bridges, and rail crossings. And on Friday, the city provided a first look of enforcement numbers so far. 12 camps have been cleared out since the protocols were put in place, and many other camps are being monitored, according to a report shared with Council's Community Services Committee. The report also says a total of 30 sites have been remediated. City staff notes some camps only took an hour or so to clean up, while others took several days. The report also says bylaw enforcement officers have completed 72 on-site inspections since November 17th and have posted more than 115 signs. Tension remains high in parts of the U.S. after a weekend of protests against ICE. Minneapolis remains at the center of tensions as ICE agents continue immigration crackdowns. The Trump administration now plans to send hundreds more federal agents into the city. U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says they're being sent in to ensure the safety of immigration officers. Protests in the U.S. have been happening since Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent. The Trump administration maintains the agent who killed her was acting in self-defense. A Manitoba man has reeled in a big catch.
When you get a big fish on, you can tell right away, and it pulls out. It almost bailed.
Colin Lee Grand was ice fishing with a friend last Monday at Sandy Bar Beach near Riverton. Lee Grand says they managed to snag a few walleye before he felt the big bite, and he hauled in the mother load.
You can imagine this fish was a little over 45 inches long, and we're fishing out of an 8-inch hole. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden this fish, and you know, believe it or not, this fish's head could barely make it in the hole.
Lee Grand says the northern pike is the biggest fish he's ever caught. He estimates it's about 25 to 30 years old. He loves the reaction he's gotten from friends and family since hauling it in, and even submitted a photo to Manitoba's Master Angler Awards. As for the fish's fate, he let it go, meaning other fishers will also have a shot at this big one. Wow. Here's what's happening now in traffic along the Norwood Bridge. Things are slowly picking up over here, but overall moving quite well. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. Well, in entertainment, it was one win after another for one of the most acclaimed films of the year at the Golden Globes.
Thank you very much for this affectionate award. Appreciate it. Thank you.
One battle after another won 4 awards on the night, including Best Musical and Comedy. Best Drama went to Hamnet. Teyana Taylor won for Best Supporting Actress, while Paul Thomas Anderson took home Directing and Screenplay prizes. But it wasn't a clean sweep.
If you would have told me when I was 19 years old, I'd be thanking Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. All right, you're laughing, so I got away with that. Thank you, Kevin.
Timothée Chalamet beat out Leo DiCaprio to win Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy for his performance in Marty Supreme. Jessie Buckley won Best Drama Actress for Hamnet, and Rose Byrne won in the comedy category for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. On the TV side, at the Golden Globes, Seth Rogen took home Best Actor in a Comedy Series for The Studio.
Steve Martin, Martin Short especially, I remember growing up watching you guys my whole life thinking one day I'm going to beat them.
The show also won Best Comedy. Jean Smart keeps racking up awards for her role in Hacks, and The Pit won for Best Drama Series. And a copy of the comic book that introduced the world to Superman has been sold to an anonymous buyer for a sky-high $15 million US. Action Comics #1 was originally released in 1939 and sold for 10 cents. It marks the beginning of the superhero genre and is among the most valuable comic books in the world. It's estimated that only 100 copies still exist. This specific copy is even more valuable because it was once owned by, stolen from, and returned to Oscar winner Nicolas Cage, who originally purchased the comic for $150,000. Your primetime lineup starts at 6:30 with the NFL Thursday Night Football pregame. Then at 7, the Houston Texans travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, and Children Ruin Everything follows at 9:15. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution.
That is really something that would only happen to Nicolas Cage. Buying a very expensive comic book, having it stolen and then reclaimed. Goodness, make a movie about that man. -6 degrees with the wind chill, though it feels more like -11. A couple clouds have started to join us in our skies. They'll build throughout the day. Winds are out of the west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling. Humidity sits at 88%. Just a very mild day unfolding across southern Manitoba and all of the province, to be exact, as evidenced by these currents hovering already at 0 in Dauphin. A little bit cooler in Brandon at -9. That's kind of been a theme for the last couple of days. You've often had a cooler start than most. Portage la Prairie at -6, Morden and Winkler at -2, up in the Pas -3 degrees. And look at these conditions, very similar in northern Manitoba, with the exception of Churchill at -22 degrees, where there's also some snow activity this morning. With that wind chill too, making it feel even fiercer at -31 in Churchill, but the rest of us, it's not too severe, so that's the good news. The bad news is there is still a chance of some mixed precipitation that causes some issues out there on the roads. As the kids arrive at class, though, it'll be lovely. -2 degrees with that mix of sun and cloud, about -1 as they take lunch. And then on the way home, that's when that risk of freezing drizzle or mixed precipitation rolls in. Likely, though, we're going to stay dry. If you can believe it, 0 as they head home, but we're getting even warmer than that into the late afternoon, early evening. 2 degrees is our high with mostly cloudy skies. And then overnight, that freezing drizzle risk persists with temperatures barely dipping. And then into tomorrow, good likelihood of us seeing freezing drizzle or some flurries with a high of 1 degree. But look at our overnight low at -22. We take a bit of a dip in terms of our temperatures, but we rebound nicely but a day later. Your Skywatch picture of the day. Wow, Roy snapped a beaut in Winnipeg, actually, with that lovely frost backlit by the sunset. Thanks to Roy for capturing this picture perfect moment. And please send us your weather pictures to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thank you, Catherine. Get ready to rev your engines. It's time for a Your Morning Winnipeg contest. Ram Motorsports Spectacular is coming to Canada Life Centre for 2 shows on February 7th and the 8th. Fans can meet the drivers and even ride in one of the trucks. Your Morning Winnipeg has a family pass for 4 to give away this week. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca. Don't forget to enter the keyword wheels. Good luck. People in Montreal are trying to get to the bottom of an avian mystery, wondering how a bird that shouldn't be on this side of the Atlantic wound up in their neighborhood. CTV's Christine Long checks out the excitement this feathered friend is generating.
January 7th, Sabrina Jacob was putting out her garbage when she saw a rare bird.
I watch birds, so I was like, I don't know this sound. So I just look up and I was like, well, I don't know this bird either. He came straight up in front of me for 2 seconds. I took the video.
As her video shows, it's a hardy little bird who usually lives in Europe, even as far north as Scandinavia.
I saw him every day since. I have beautiful pictures, yeah.
When she shared her videos of the bird, people started flocking for a glimpse of this European robin on this side of the Atlantic.
It's nice to see the bird. We love the bird, but it's not like a chase for us. It's more like spending time with the bird.
How did this robin come here? Bird behaviorist Joël Coutu wonders if proximity to the port isn't a coincidence.
So it's possible that he hitched a ride and crossed the Atlantic Ocean. Other possibilities is the weather conditions as well. Lately in Europe, we've had these cold fronts, and Paris has had snow, and so it's possible these northern winds sort of pushed him here. I doubt he was carried in a luggage in a plane and released here, and it's possible he's been here for a while. So he could have been here for weeks or months, and maybe he did come during migration in the fall.
Some birders said they never thought they would see a European robin.
C'est comme prendre 5 cafés en même temps.
It's like having 5 coffees all at once, says this birder, and he's in good company here.
It wasn't even on the list. It wasn't within the realm of a possibility.
During dark January days, Jacob's discovery has brought a lot of joy to this neighborhood.
Love, he makes it through the winter and he stays with us with the spring. I would love to.
Christine Long, CTV News.
Look at this little sleepy dog. Yeah, he's got a job to do, but not right now. Ainsley's got a sweet gig this morning. We'll be right back to find out more on what these dogs do. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's been hanging out with some really cute dogs throughout the morning. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. And for those at home watching, don't worry. They'll be sledding soon enough. It's still dark out, so we will learn how to put the harness on. We'll learn the commands, and we'll get those dogs on the sleds. First, we're going to learn how they were named. Marc-Andre joins me from Harness Adventures. So you have named your dogs after famous Manitoba figures.
Yeah, quite a few of our dogs are named after Manitoba figures. We spent a lot of time in Churchill, so a lot of our dogs are named after explorers that have to do with Churchill history. And then there's a couple other names that are related to broader Canadian history as well. So we created a little game that visitors can come and do here when they have a bit of time here in our visitor center.
Okay, so we're going to do a few now, and I'm going to say I'm cheating a little bit because upside down, this one says nice pants. That's obviously for Button. And then when I look at all the photographs, this guy's got some pretty nice pants. Marc-Andre?
Yeah, well, that's right. So Thomas Button was the first European to set foot in what is Manitoba nowadays. So he's a pretty interesting figure, and people oftentimes think it's cute as a button, but she's named after one of the first European to set foot in Manitoba. And what's interesting with Button, she's an old lady that has a lot of heart and still runs nowadays at 13 years old. So she's a pretty interesting dog that we have.
That's awesome. I won't ask you to give an in-depth historical lesson for every single name, but are there a few of them you can highlight this morning?
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. So last year we had a litter. We purchased 2 dogs, a litter of 2, and we tend to go with topics when we name litters. And the litter that we had last year, we had the topic of Indigenous First World War veteran. So we named one of them a Longboat, who is a famous marathoner, and the other one is a famous sniper from the First World War by the name of Pegamagabo. So they're interesting characters that we can discover if you come and visit us here at Harness Adventure.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny because we talk about sledding and there's just such, the mechanics of them. They're such athletes. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. We will chat with you a little bit later.
Those dogs look like they need another nap. Thank you, Ainsley. We'll check a little later.
I mean, I'm glad what they're saying is super interesting. Yes. Ainsley is so lively and they're like they don't want to be there.
Just you're being too loud this early in the morning.
I mean, I can barely believe I'm up this early, so I feel them. Alrighty, well, if you want to get outside at this time is a nice time to do it. It'll wake you up a little bit because later on today it doesn't really have that same startling effect because the temperatures are going to be so lovely. Still lovely this hour, -6, that wind chill making it feel closer to -11. It's just touch cloudy out there. Winds are out of the west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity sitting at 88%. Lots of snowfall and cloud coverage on the way to northern Manitoba on this Monday. You can see it pushing in there. While we here start off decently clear, but we'll have some snow, or rather some clouds building into the afternoon. Not snow, but we do have a slight risk of some freezing drizzle. That could be coming from a low pressure system that's pushing in from the west. Likely, though, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud. High of 2 degrees, if you can believe it. -13 is what's typical. Winds will be out of the southwest at 20 kilometers per hour. That chance of freezing drizzle persists, though it's likely to arrive in the southwest by late afternoon or overnight, while we will likely stay dry with cloudy skies and a high, or a low. I almost said high because look, it's barely any deviation from our high. 1 degree with those very strong northwesterly winds. They persist tomorrow and then likely whipping around, a good likelihood of some freezing drizzle from that low pressure system with a high of 1. Showers, flurries expected, very strong northwesterly winds. Midweek, we take a dive in terms of our temperatures. -15 degrees under mainly clear sunny skies, but it is very short-lived. Back by Thursday, we're at -1 degree with a good likelihood of some flurry activity. Friday, another seasonal day at -12 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud and a low chance of flurries.
Police have arrested a man they say is responsible for several instances of hate-related graffiti in the city, including at a synagogue and high school. Investigators allege the 34-year-old suspect tagged 14 different properties during a vandalism spree early last Friday. That spree included spray painting swastikas outside of Sherry Zedek Synagogue, Calvin High School, an entrance to Munson Park, and Abu Bakr al-Siddiq Mosque.
It wasn't just property that was damaged. A message of hate was sent to a faith community, to families, and to an entire city.
Inspector Jennifer McKinnon alleges the suspect also tagged homes, garages, and vehicles that morning. McKinnon says some of the locations were tagged with messages or words that were, quote, not indicative of hate. She credits community members for reporting graffiti and submitting surveillance video. McKinnon says police arrested the suspect without incident Thursday.
This arrest matters. Not just because the law was broken, but because our community deserves to know that actions like this will be confronted and answered with justice.
34-year-old Oliver Ederhoff has been charged with 14 counts of mischief under $5,000 and obstructing enjoyment. He hasn't been charged with hate crimes. However, police are consulting with the Manitoba Prosecution Service to figure out possible motives for the crime. Ederhoff has been released from custody with conditions. None of the charges have been tested in court. Prime Minister Carney is set to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Tuesday in an effort to break the ice and boost trade after years of frosty relations. Political watchers say Carney has a difficult task ahead of him as he tries to navigate tensions between Canada's 2 largest trading partners, China and the U.S., particularly after Canada followed the American lead in 2024 with a 100% tariff on imports of Chinese electric vehicles. That led to China retaliating with a 100% tariff on Canadian canola. The Prime Minister's trip to China comes at a time when farmers here at home are struggling to turn a profit as tariffs drive down market prices. But as CTV's Alison Bamford explains, there is hope this week's meeting could mark a turning point.
This time of year, Ryan Scragg should be hauling grain. Instead, he's pushing snow and wondering what he's going to plant in the spring.
The problem is right now is that nothing pencils out to a profit.
Canola and peas usually make up about 70% of what Scragg grows, but both crops face punishing tariffs from China that have pulverized market prices. Right now, all of Scragg's bins are full, but normally for this time of year, he said at least 20% of his grain would already be sold.
I'm waiting as long as I can. At some point, there's just no more option of waiting.
Many face the same challenges, now clinging to hope that upcoming talks between Prime Minister Mark Carney and China's president will progress trade negotiations.
What we're hoping to see now is that we can translate some of that engagement into action on these issues.
Carney's visit to China, slated for next week, is planting optimism ahead of spring seeding. But farmers still mindful that these tariffs were put in place last March and removing them takes time.
I don't see them inking a trade deal or something that immediately fixes it, but I think doing anything is better than doing nothing.
For now, farmers like Scragg will weather the storm. He plans to cut back on canola and nearly drop peas altogether this spring, seeding a little bit of everything, hoping he can grow a profit. Allison Bamford, CTV News, near Prince Albert.
One man's massive Pez collection is now on display at a California library. The owner, Don Yeager, owns hundreds of them from the past and present. Pez started in Austria as a peppermint breath freshener for adults. It's also been marketed in the past as an anti-smoking tool. These days, of course, they're a lot more playful. All right, here's a look at some of the reminders on road closures to share this morning. Following the rush, the southbound Curb Lane on Main will be closed from St. Mary Avenue to York on Inkster Boulevard. The westbound Curb Lane will be closed between Bunting and Milner. And the westbound Curb Lane on Springfield will be closed from Bryan to Henderson. If you have any other traffic tips to share, please text them to us. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.24. The provincial average is lower at $1.16. In Winnipeg, the average is the same. The lowest price in the city is $1.07. All this info is on GasBuddy.com. Right now, we're sitting at -6 degrees. With the wind chill, it feels like -11. We'll be right back after this short break.
A lovely start to our day and our week. It is -6 degrees out there with that wind chill. It's -11. One or two clouds out there in the sky. Winds are out of the west-southwest. Pressure is falling. Humidity at 88%. So we are starting off with those clear skies. We will get some cloud coverage into the morning and into the late afternoon. While northern Manitoba, you're contending with a good amount of congested skies, some overcast skies, and likely some snowfall as well. You're looking at about 2 to 4 centimeters worth by Environment and Climate Change Canada's estimation, with above seasonal highs of -8 degrees in Thompson, just -2 in Island Lake. But the further north you go, of course, it does get quite cool at -14 in Gillam, although that is still above seasonal, and -18 in Churchill, who's likely to get a mix of sun and cloud. Northwestern Manitoba, even warmer with that likelihood of light snow today and into the overnight hours. A downright balmy high of 3 in Opaskwayak, Cree Nation, The Paw, 0 in Flin Flon, -2 in Norway House, -3 in Lynn Lake. Into southwestern Manitoba, above freezing is what we're expecting with a mix of sun and cloud. You too have a slight chance of some freezing drizzle, specifically in the late afternoon, early evening. Temperatures at 2 across the board, except for Dauphin, which is getting up to 4, if you can believe it. Very similar for us here, a mix of sun and cloud. We do have a chance of freezing drizzle today. Likely it'll be mostly sunny. And then we'll deal with some decently strong westerly winds at 20 kilometers per hour. Northwestern Ontario hovering at or just above the freezing mark with lots of sunshine in Kenora and more clouds and likely some flurry activity in the rest of that stretch. Overnight, temperatures not moving around too much. You're looking at an overnight low of 1 with that risk of freezing drizzle. But tomorrow, good likelihood of that low pressure system bringing some flurries or some freezing rain with a high of 1. But look at the dive we take overnight at -22 degrees. And then by Wednesday, we're back below seasonal at -15 degrees. But it is short-lived. Thursday, we're back to -1.
Thank you, Catherine. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We're talking about harness adventure mushing, and some of the dogs have really cool names that are linked to historical figures here in Manitoba. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Yeah, what a neat way to do it, eh? This one particularly doesn't. This is Mira. I think you were saying it was named after a Game of Thrones.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, we're going to be learning how to put the harness on, an integral part of the operation. So how do you teach people, Marc-Andre?
Yeah, so this is an X-back harness. So that's how you know it's on right. It's if you have an X on the back of the end. Opposite the X, you have the letter Y that you see here. So if you take the stem of the Y, you're opening up the space here. So if you want to take that and put it over top of her snout,
Okay.
And then you go all the way, all the way down past the, you got it. That's exactly it. And so, so after that, we do a little dance sometimes, just to show. So we go like that, and go like this, and go like this, just to show that human shoulders have a lot of flexibility compared to a dog shoulder.
Yeah.
Dogs are limited to, essentially this. So what we tell people is bend the wrist, move the harness. So if you want to reach down and grab the wrist here, and bend it right up. You can, that's exactly it.
Perfect.
And then you can kind of cup it up here, just like that.
This one here?
Yep, you got it. And then you bring the harness around.
Okay.
And now that if you pull back, pull back on the harness, you'll see that we have an X on the back right here.
Awesome.
So
how tight should it be? Is this right on?
It's they're fitted pretty. It's not super tight.
Yeah.
But they're fitted for sizing for each dog. So we have about 4 or 5 sizes that we use for the dogs.
And it starts quite young.
Yeah, we put them into harness fairly young. Sometimes they pull a little stump when they're puppies, and then when the season starts, depending on their age, we toss them onto the gang line. And it's normally not too hard to teach a dog to be on the gang line because it's innate in them to be able to pull.
How many will you have on? I'm teasing it a bit. You're going to see this in the 8 o'clock hour. How many?
We're going to go with 8 dogs this morning.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, I'm so excited. Coming up at 8:06, we're going to meet some of the newest editions of Harness Adventure.
Thank you, Ainsley. Ice fishing enthusiasts in many parts of Canada are celebrating an early and cold season. It has been particularly good news in a Quebec village where ice fishing is a long-standing tradition and business. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin has more.
In this vast ice fishing village on the frozen Sainte Anne River, an old-fashioned winter in Quebec of cold and snow is reeling in visitors.
We're fortunate to have a great winter vacation.
With colder than normal temperatures in December, a thick ice cover formed early. It's about what you were saying?
24 inches.
24 inches,
yeah, 24 inches.
Ice fishing is a nearly 90-year-old tradition here in Sainte-Anne-de-la-Pérade. Oh, I see.
Old-fashioned with the wood stove.
By the 1940s, people were arriving by train to catch the tomcod or frostfish, a mild-tasting catch.
It's around 400 million fish coming in Sainte-Anne-de-la-Pérade each winter.
The small white-fleshed fish is known for winter spawning. And it spawned big business here, attracting about 100,000 people a year. The region became known as the tomcod capital of the world. But over the past 5 winters, warm weather shortened seasons. Profit thinned along with the ice. A third less visitors rented cabins from outfitters here. We have to work twice as hard during mild winters. This season we finally had it easy, says Jesse Casey. The trade is often passed down from generation to generation here. The mild, difficult winters had some thinking of quitting.
Because of this year, I think that will save, the young one and give them.
They're gonna be hooked again.
Give hope. Yes, that's it.
One season at a time, they say here, because they're just not sure whether next year will be a return to the milder temperatures, and then fewer people will be saying, gone fishing. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Sainte-Anne-de-la-Pérade, Quebec.
Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 21st birthday, Vaughn from Quincy, Barney, Boston, Daxon, and the gang at North 40 Ranch, and of course, Buddy. Happy 80th birthday to eldest sister Ethel, with love from your family. Happy birthday, Maureen, with love from your family. Happy 18th wedding anniversary to Angie and Kine. Best wishes from the Hunt family and the gang at North 40 Ranch, and Buddy, of course. Bonne fête and happy birthday to Teo. Love Grandma, Grandpa, and all your family. Happy 19th birthday, Colton from Braden. And a happy birthday, Ashley. Love Mom and your siblings and Nick and the fur babies. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff, Winnipeg's balloon headquarters with 3 locations. Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
It is just going to be a lovely day out there. We're looking at a high of 2 degrees. -3 is what's typical. We're well off what we saw this time last year. However, we're a few degrees shy of that record as well, set back in 1987. So we're still a good 30 minutes, I'd say, away from sunrise, and we're still getting some gorgeous kind of inky skies. It's lovely out here with just a trace couple clouds. It's -6 degrees with that wind chill, feels more like -11. Winds are out of the west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity at 88%. So northern Manitoba, let's talk about you. We are tracking a low-pressure system that's likely to spread a good amount of snowfall to you over today and into tonight. It's looking like estimations for how much will fall has slightly shifted. Environment and Climate Change Canada predicts about 2 to 5 centimeters, except for a very kind of broad swath of northern Manitoba, specifically from Lynn Lake to Thompson to Island Lake. There it could be 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. Temperatures, though, very favorable and above seasonal in the mid- single digits. For us here in southern Manitoba, mix of sun and cloud. We do have a slight chance of some freezing drizzle. Likely we're staying dry. Very warm highs, though, for Winnipeg. That's 2 degrees.
Thanks, Catherine. Large residential, commercial, and industrial property owners along the Seine River are being asked to join in on a free workshop this week. The workshop is part of a green infrastructure feasibility study paid for by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities to come up with green solutions and a plan to protect the area's watershed from environmental and climate change factors. It's called the Understanding Green Infrastructure Workshop, and it's happening Wednesday evening. Joining us now to tell us more about the workshop are the Executive Director of Save Our Seine, Patrick Krawek, and SOS Consulting Biologist and Green Infrastructure Project Manager, Chris Penner. Good morning, Patrick and Chris.
Good morning, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Now, tell us, first of all, what your group Save Our Seine's mission is all about.
Save Our Seine, we're a local environmental nonprofit, and for over 35 years, we've been working to protect the Seine River Greenway, the glorious 26-kilometer stretch that runs through our city. We're a volunteer-driven, community-powered organization. We do habitat stewardship. Folks may be familiar with our River Keepers team that's pulling trash and weeds all through the river through the summer. We do habitat restoration, invasive species removal, tree planting. We do a lot of education, guided walks, school workshops, learning opportunities like the one coming up on Wednesday. We also work to provide access to the river for everybody. So whether it be maintaining the trails or creating things like the Bruce Street Dock so that people can get to the river forests in their neighborhood. And we also do advocacy. So we work with community members and different levels of government just to ensure that this gem in our city is preserved for future generations.
And so for this workshop on Wednesday, who are you targeting exactly?
Well, we're hoping to find some large property owners, so industrial property owners, somebody who has manufacturing or something of the like along the Seine River Greenway, commercial real estate holders, so folks who may have a strip mall, restaurant, something along the lines, and large residential property owners, so folks who maybe have townhouses or apartment blocks in the area, folks who are interested in preserving the Seine River Greenway by mitigating runoff from storms and preventing sewage discharge into the river, as well as protecting their own properties.
Right. Okay. So these are solutions that are better for the river itself, but also something that is sort of, it's good for the future of our planet as well in the long run.
Absolutely. It's a win-win situation. Yep.
So what are some of these green initiatives that you're talking about here?
Well, natural infrastructure is essentially natural systems that are incorporated into the built environment in cities and towns and used to for the purpose of providing ecological goods and services, or in this case, trying to retain water away from the water temporarily, hold it on the land, let it soak into the soil gradually or evaporate naturally, which would alleviate some of the stress that our combined sewer system has within the combined sewer system footprint.
No, this is something you're not forcing people to do. You're just hoping they'll just do it on their own to better the location.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Now, you can incorporate there are different types of natural infrastructure. Okay, wetlands, constructed wetlands, for instance, are an example of that. Even planting trees is an example. Rain gardens, bioretention cells, even green roofs are a way of doing that. So rain falls on a green roof, for instance, and it's the soil in the green roof soaks up the water and event naturally evaporates, either from plant uptake or just natural evaporation. Also, now that's an example of a pretty intensive project and not one you can generally retrofit buildings with, but on a property you can incorporate ways to hold water, such as a rain garden, as I mentioned earlier. They're generally very low tech and they improve the environmental performance of your landscape while providing actually a visual and an amenity.
All right. Well, it sounds fascinating, and hopefully you'll get a lot of response to your workshop. Thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
How's it going? Jermaine Franklin inside the TSN Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. For it, we go to Philly. 49ers Eagles Sky Moore takes the handoff, tosses it to Jawan Jennings, and yes, he's going to throw it. Christian McCaffrey wide open, makes a great grab for the TD. What a great play from the Niners offense. The trickery catches the defense sleeping. Jennings also threw a touchdown to McCaffrey in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. That helped San Fran upset the champs, and it's your must-see moment from Sunday. And tonight on TSN, it's Monday Night Football NFL Playoffs edition. Texans taking on the Steelers to wrap up Wild Card Weekend. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Monday, January the 12th, awaiting military assistance. How many Canadian Forces personnel are expected to arrive today assisting with water system recovery at Pimicikamak Cree Nation? Reconsidering the royal decision, PC leader Khan adds his voice to those warning of harmful impacts if the iconic Manitoba-made whiskey is pulled. And after decades of quietly building up a following, this monument to books and reading has gone viral to the point where the library may start charging admission. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Monday. It is 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Coming up at 8:15, we're going to tell you about a brand new book. It's a Manitoba Flora book. It's containing all kinds of different flora from around the province. And it's good timing, too, because the last book that was sort of like this was written back in 1957.
Time for an update, I'd say.
Yes, absolutely. And there's been some new discoveries as well. Nice. So we're going to find out a little bit more about that book. Of course, it was supported by the Manitoba Museum and the botanist there. Also, we're going to tell you about a fun fitness experience. If you're between the ages of 40 and 60, it's called the Strut experience. So we're going to tell you what that's about. But if you want to do some fitness today, is get outside and enjoy it.
Yeah, strut your stuff outside because it is just so lovely. And that sun's starting to peak up. Just -6 degrees as we kick off the morning, -11 with the wind chill. Winds are out of the west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. A little speckling of clouds, as you can see. Barometric pressure is falling. Humidity sits at 88%. Yes, good amount of sunshine on the way to southern Manitoba today. Different story in the north. You can see some encroaching cloud coverage, so we will get a mix of sun and cloud. But northern Manitoba, overcast and likely very snowy. Low pressure system, there you see on that very kind of top right corner, where am I? Top left corner of your screen. As it pushes in, it's bringing a good likelihood of snowfall spreading throughout northern Manitoba. About 2 to 5 centimeters worth, however, on a stretch from Lynn Lake to Island Lake to Thompson. region, you could see anywhere from 5 to 10 centimeters worth. For us here on the back end of that low pressure system, you see mixed precipitation, rainfall, maybe some freezing drizzle moving in. So that's likely to come overnight to southwestern Manitoba and then push into our skies by tomorrow. You can see it does linger there, and it should stick around for the day for us here in Winnipeg. Temperatures, though, still mild, but Wednesday we're getting a real fall off. So while we're loving these above seasonal temperatures, they will be short-lived, a little bit dicey. For today, as mentioned, a high of 2 degrees, not switching too much overnight to 1. That low chance of flurries or mixed precipitation continuing, ramping up into tomorrow at 1. Then we see that brief fall off at -15 on Wednesday, but we warm up by Thursday. A lovely picture created by Kingsley. I think there's some decoupage in there, just some lovely colors as well. If you have any of your weather kids weather-themed artwork, we'd love to see them. Email your submissions to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
Pimicikamak Cree Nation's Chief David Monia says 7 members of the Canadian Armed Forces are to arrive at the Northern First Nation today. In a social media post on Sunday, Chief Monia said members are to provide technical assistance, assessments, and support for critical infrastructure and recovery efforts. He said plumbers and other workers are also arriving to help with water and electrical issues, but the community is having a tough time finding them adequate washrooms and shower facilities. Monia said some workers who are already in the community are getting sick due to a lack of clean water. Originally, he said 8 CAF members were coming, but the number was corrected to 7. The Northern First Nation learned early this month that a days-long power outage had left its homes and buildings with frozen water systems, sewer backups, electrical issues, and burst pipes. More than 100 people gathered at the Manitoba legislature on Saturday in support of protesters in Iran. This came after activists said at least 538 people were killed, with even more feared dead, during nationwide protests over economic uncertainty. Protests were happening in 185 cities, with more than 10,000 people detained, according to U.S.-based human rights activist news agency. Co-organizer Bahar Jafari Jozani in Winnipeg said with Iranian regime blocking international calls and internet access, it is getting difficult to get in touch with relatives in Iran. The leader of the opposition in Manitoba is adding his voice to those pleading with Ontario Premier Doug Ford to keep Crown Royal on shelves.
You know, I encouraged working together as provinces. I've encouraged, addressing interprovincial trade barriers that we've spoken about for a long time. Let's work together. Let's not pick fights with each other, and let's do what's best for Ontario workers and Manitoba workers.
Con has sent Ford a letter asking him to reconsider his call to clear the Gimli-made whiskey from Ontario's liquor stores, pointing to the potential for job losses. He joins a chorus of other Manitoba politicians, including Premier Wab Kinew, MP James Bazan, and PCMLA Derek Johnson, in asking Ford to keep the booze available through the LCBO. However, Ford, as recently as Thursday, has defended the plan and said he won't back down. Ford's decision is in response to manufacturer Diageo moving its bottling plant from Ontario to the United States. An art installation of thousands of books in Prague is getting flooded by people after becoming a social media hit. Prague's municipal library installed the monument to reading back in 1998. It has stood there quietly until about 3 years ago when it went viral. Suddenly, people started to really take notice. The library is now contemplating charging fees and possibly even hiring people to control the crowds. That's how many books I have at home right now. Here's a look at what's happening on the St. James Bridge. It looks like things are still moving well over here, but we do have a traffic note to share with you. On Sherbrooke and William, there has been an MVC, and emergency crews are blocking the southbound curb lane past the intersection, so you're asked to keep left to pass. And then on Barrie and Ness, lights are blank in all directions. Treat it as an always stop before proceeding into that intersection. If you have any other traffic tips to share, please text them to us.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live with some cute dogs this morning. This one looks like he's pretty happy to be there. Good morning.
I'm glad you said that because he's kind of being held against his will. I'm like, love me, please. Look at all these brand new pups. We're at Harness Adventures right now talking dog sledding, and you know, you got to get a new crew in for some training. Tell us a little bit about these ones.
So this is a litter we had in late October. And they're going to be all ready to go for next year. But in the meantime, our visitors can enjoy them. It's not every year that we have a litter like this. It's the first time since 2012 that we've had a litter. We normally buy dogs. So this is a treat for everybody that comes. They get a chance to pet these little fur balls that we have here for the time being.
It might not be a simple question, but how do you train a baby pup to mush?
Oh, well, it's not overly hard because it's in them to pull. At this stage, you can't do much from that perspective. But when they get a few months older, you can put them into a harness. They can pull some little objects, and then eventually you can toss them in with the team when they get old enough.
And then when it comes to direction, how does that work? How do they learn those skills?
Oh, well, directions. It's already you kind of find a lead dog you use your lead dogs that exist in your kennel to teach other coming up lead dogs that you hopefully have later on.
So when we're out and about, how far do they go? How much ground? Because they're fast too. Yeah,
they can cover numerous dozens of kilometers in a day. So oftentimes it's like I'll go out for a 25 kilometer run here out of the property here for fun. So it's a good 2 hours on the sled, and it's a lot of fun to be on the sled.
So with 4 puppies, you must be exhausted also.
Oh, it's not too bad because they beat each other up. They keep each other busy. So yeah,
all right. I'm going to have to throw back to you guys because I'm going to sneeze in a couple seconds.
Oh, they're so cute. All right, thank you, Ainsley. Rome appears to be one man's magic word to helping his canine buddies find forever homes. What started as a friend's suggestion has now become a mission for one New Yorker. ABC's Danny New unpacks the story.
A New Yorker on a mission to help shelter dogs get adopted thanks to some useful backpacking trips.
There are people who shove their face into this dog, and it's heartwarming because I can see something shift in them in real time.
Since the summertime, once a week.
You want to go for a ride?
Brian Reesberg here has been taking out dogs, usually from Best Friends Animal Society, to give them 1, a relaxing day away from the shelter, and 2, enough attention online to get adopted more quickly.
All these dogs, within 48 hours, the videos go viral, and they would get adopted, and people are just going crazy for it.
Of course, it helps that Brian already had millions of followers on social media, thanks to a decade of making videos with his insanely adorable corgi, Maxine. Here they are on the Jumbotron at a Brooklyn Nets game, and the key is that backpack, which Brian helped design so he could take Maxine on the subway. Per the MTA, you need to transport them in a secure bag.
We launched it on Maxine's 6th birthday, which was December 15th, 2021, and sold out in 4 minutes. People went nuts for it.
Now Brian is using that backpack called Maxine 1 to transport dogs to the park or to get treats while showcasing how loving they can be to potential adopters. Recently, he even expanded to South Florida, taking Amber here from Miami-Dade Animal Services on a little beach trip. In fact, Brian says he is now 13 for 13 on helping the dog you see in the video get adopted. One commenter writing, "Thank you for using your platform to encourage people to adopt shelter dogs."
I've never in my life experienced anything like the reaction to these backpack videos, and it's quite honestly changed my life.
So that program is part of the shelter's Adventure Buddy program, where you can take out dogs for the day. Many shelters across the country even just let you take the dog out for a walk if you'd like. And how could you not want to do something like that? In New York for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution.
A great time to bring the pup outside. It is just so gorgeous as that sun is rising, and mild too. -5 degrees, that wind chill is in effect, making it feel just a few degrees cooler. Speckling of cloud coverage up against that orange sky. Winds out of the west-southwest at 19 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling. Humidity at 82%. So we will get a good amount of sunshine today and some above seasonal values as evidenced by our current conditions. It's 8 a.m. and we're already off to a very warm start. These are warmer temperatures than our typical highs for this time of year. It's -8 in Portage, -5 in Gimli, -3 in Dauphin. Over in Kenora, -7 degrees this hour. Northern Manitoba on par with us for the most part, except for Churchill, which is at -22 degrees with a good amount of snowfall to kick off your day. And that wind chill feeling quite harsh, if you will, in Churchill at -32 degrees. For us here in Winnipeg, a mix of sun and cloud as the kids get to class at about -2 degrees. Winds will start to ramp up out of the west at 20 kilometers per hour around lunchtime with -1 degree likely then. Still a mix of sun and cloud. Then on the way home, a slight chance, very slight, of some freezing drizzle or mixed precipitation. 0 as they head home. If you can believe it, we're getting even warmer than that. 2 degrees expected in late afternoon, early evening. As those clouds roll in. There we go, Catherine. But that chance of some showers or mixed precipitation does persist overnight, not changing too much in terms of our temperatures at 1 degree. Fittingly, that's our high tomorrow as that chance of freezing drizzle or light snow does intensify as a low pressure system moves in. We're taking a break, but stay with us. We've got so much more still to come on Your Morning Winnipeg.
Shopify is expanding its artificial intelligence capabilities, allowing merchants to sell products directly on Google and Microsoft's AI platforms. On Sunday, the company announced a new protocol that would enable AI-native shopping on Google Search and the Gemini app. Merchants will be able to sell to customers as part of an embedded AI experience, all while managing their store on Shopify's admin platform. Shopify is also rolling out an update to its Copilot integration that will allow users to shop and check out directly on Microsoft's platform. The National Basketball Association is preparing to pitch investors on a new European league targeting team valuations of up to $1 billion as it readies a pair of regular season games in London and Berlin. Both cities are likely to host a team in a league that could debut as early as next year, according to people familiar with the matter who asked not to be identified because the information is private. The project would include 12 franchises and 4 additional teams that qualify for the competition without owning equity. The NBA would retain a 50% stake in the league. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
A new book is growing our knowledge about Manitoba's flora, and it's good timing, as the last book of this kind was published back in 1957, and more plant species have been added to this volume. It's called Manitoba Flora, A Guide to the Vascular Plants of Manitoba, Volume 1, Spore-Producing Plants, Conifers, and Monocots. Manitoba Museum Curator of Botany, Diana Bezecki-Robson, is joining us now. Good morning, Diana. Diana, are you there? Okay, we're going to try to get to Diana in just a moment. Here's a look at what's happening on the St. James Bridge. Looks pretty good so far. We'll be right back. Just before the break, I told you about a new book. It's called Manitoba Flora, A Guide to the Vascular Plants of Manitoba. And joining us now to tell us more from the Manitoba Museum is Curator of Botany, Diana Bezecki-Robson. Joining us now. Good morning, Diana.
Good morning.
Well, thank you for being with us. Now, this book is quite extensive. It covers all of Manitoba's vascular plants. What is a vascular plant?
Vascular plants are the plants that most people are familiar with. They include conifer trees, grasses, shrubs, and basically vascular means that they have vascular tissue, kind of like veins and arteries running through them that help transport sugar and water up and down the stems. And for that reason, they can actually grow quite tall.
Okay, so now the last book on this topic was published back in 1957. Why was it important to update this information?
Well, one of the things I discovered when I started working at the museum over 20 years ago was that there were some plant species that had been documented in Manitoba that were not in the original flora of Manitoba. And in fact, as I started counting, it was about 300. Wow. So I figured it was really time for an update so that people in the province could actually identify all of the plants that are here, including the ones that have been newly documented.
Okay, so what did it involve to collect all this new data? What did you have to do?
Well, I did a fair bit of field work to actually verify that certain plant species were still growing in Manitoba. Some plants had been collected, well over 50 years ago, and nobody had seen it since. So we didn't know if it was actually still here, or if it was simply gone. And I also needed to review the herbarium's or the museum's collection of plant specimens, which is called a herbarium, to make sure that all of the plants were identified using the most up-to-date scientific research.
So you probably got a lot of wood ticks on some of the searches that you've undergone.
I did. I've mastered the tick flick off my clothes.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of the information you gathered. Were there any surprises for you, or any that you noticed have maybe changed because of climate change?
Climate change. Well, certainly up in the Churchill area, I've been told that area is getting a lot more shrubs. So I'm concerned that maybe some of the more Arctic type species are starting to decrease in abundance. But I need to do some more research up north to verify that.
Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, so what does this book include? Like, what will people find in the pages?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to include was a sort of a description of how plants look different. So just to make sure that people understand all of the terms that are being used in the book, like what the different kinds of roots are, how leaves look different from each other, things that people should be paying attention to. So there's a whole little chapter on vascular plant terminology, which beginners can read over just so they have the basic tools to use the remainder of the book, which consists of very detailed descriptions of what every plant looks like, its habitat, where in the province it actually grows. And there's also some devices called keys, taxonomic keys, that basically help you, help you to identify those plants. It's just a tool to help you narrow things down.
Diana, we're almost out of time. You will be giving a talk on this book tomorrow. Where is that happening and what time?
That's going to be at Westworth United Church on Grosvenor Avenue, and it's part of the Nature Manitoba Discovery Evening.
All right, Diana, congratulations, and thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Here's a look at what's happening in traffic now. Huge delays in this part of the city, as you can see here. If you know why or have any idea what's happening in this part of the city, please send us a text. We'll be right back. It's a fun dance experience with upbeat music, lots of energy, and it helps you make connections while getting fit. It's called the Strut Experience, a fitness rock concert for midlife women ready to move. Joining us now is the organizer and fitness leader, Anna Gordon. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what inspired this whole idea? Where did it come from?
From a variety of things. One, I myself am a midlife woman, so I always joke I'm vintage 1975. And, this has actually been a really positive experience for me, this part of my life, but there were other women around me, it wasn't. That wasn't a thing for them. I was hearing a lot of, I'm bored, I feel disconnected, I feel invisible, I've lost my spark, and I thought, okay, what can we do about this? Well, maybe the first thing is taking that step to get together, do a bit of movement, and see how we can build the momentum from there.
So it's about building connections as well, this whole thing,
Definitely,
right?
Definitely. So the first part, we're certainly going to move, we're going to have some fun, but there's also a second part, which we're going to do some facilitated connections. So my hope is that we come, we move, maybe make a friend before we leave, and then head off to brunch, because we're going to wrap up by 11:30.
Oh, I see. So brunch is not part of the whole thing.
No,
you go with a friend on your own
for
and
sure.
have brunch.
For sure.
This experience, the Strut experience, why is that important to have that word in there, strut?
I think it really creates that picture of not only movement, but moving with confidence. So every time we take that little step, even if it's a tiny step, we build that confidence that I can do this, and we reshape the story in our mind of what we're telling ourselves about what's possible for us and what we can achieve, certainly at this stage of life. I think it's really important.
Why do you think women feel invisible at this stage?
I don't know. I think certainly, there's a lot of emotional, physical challenges at this age and stage of life, and sometimes, varying degrees, it can really, really wear people down. But I think by finding community where you can maybe share that, yeah, I'm experiencing some of that too, but there's also a lot of good things that maybe you can pull people out of just the not so nice parts of what may be happening to them.
Women in this age group are typically struggling with perimenopause and menopause, and so that's part of this as well, do you think?
Definitely. In fact, I always joke I travel with my little fan here because ladies of my generation tend to run a little warm at any time, and so these are always at my events, just letting people know it's a safe space where they can just be who they are, whatever they're experiencing at that moment, and it's perfectly fine.
That's lovely. Okay, so and it's big fat dance party, really.
Big
Tell
time.
us about that.
Yeah, for sure. So one segment is choreographed dance fitness. I'll be leading that, and really the dance fitness is really just, it's a catalyst. So I want people to know that they don't have to worry about doing it perfectly.
Okay.
Certainly high energy but low impact. I'm very mindful of knees and you know how things move differently at different ages and stages. But really, it's really just to build that energy, to keep it moving forward. So we're going to do that. And the movement is a catalyst, again, for that momentum for other things, just for people to come and feel that, okay, maybe there are other things for me. There are places where I can connect with people and get out and enjoy life again.
That's awesome. Okay, so this is happening
this Saturday. This Saturday, doors open at 9:30 a.m. We go live at 10 and wrap up by 11:30.
And this is where?
This is at Norwood Community Center, which is just down 87 Walmer. Okay. And yeah, people.
So for those who want to show up, what do they need to bring?
I always say water, something comfortable to move in, shoes certainly that they can comfortably dance in, move around in, and a dash of attitude, and they'll be perfectly fine.
Do they have to pre-register or just show up?
Tickets, they can get tickets online at thestrutexperience.com.
Perfect. And then, of course, we have a link on our website as well. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Sounds like a fun time.
Now's a good time to strut your stuff outside because it is so gorgeous. It's -5 degrees to kick off our Monday, -11 with the wind chill. 1 or 2 clouds out there, but for the most part, pretty sunny. Winds are out of the west-southwest. The barometric pressure's falling. Humidity sits at 82%. Yeah, good amount of sunshine on the way to southern Manitoba, as evidenced by our radar. Some clouds speckled in. Northern Manitoba, a bit of a different story. Overcast and a good chance of some snowfall. This is care of a low-pressure system that's likely to spread about 2 to 5 centimeters worth of snowfall between today and tomorrow. Temperatures very mild for this time of year. Look at Island Lake at -2, Thompson at -8. Let's keep in mind that -20 is what's typical. A little bit cooler in Gillam at -14. Churchill, likely though you've had some snowfall to start the day off, you're going to go likely clear off and just deal with a good amount of sunshine. Some cooler temperatures though there at -18. Northwestern Manitoba also likely dealing with some snowfall. Environment and Climate Change Canada also specifies that a certain swath of the province, specifically from Thompson to Lynn Lake to Thompson to Island Lake, there we go, could be getting 5 to 10 centimeters worth, while the rest around the 2 to 5 centimeter mark. Look at those warm temperatures though at 3 in Opaskwayak Cree Nation and the Paw, 0 in Flin Flon, below freezing in Norway House and Lynn Lake. Southwestern Manitoba, likely a mix of sun and cloud, though you do have a chance of some rain or mixed precipitation into the late afternoon, early evening. Temperatures peaking above freezing, 2s across the board except for Dauphin at 4. For us here in Winnipeg, much the same, a mix of sun and cloud, slight chance of some freezing drizzle. Northwestern Ontario, very favorable conditions, likely for some flurries in Dryden and Red Lake. Overnight, temperatures dipping down to 1 as that risk of mixed precipitation does continue. Not changing too much into Tuesday with a good likelihood of some rain or some flurry activity, a high of 1. And then Wednesday, quite cool. We take a dive in our temperatures at -15.
The Manitoba government says Ottawa's move to reduce international student allocations has created financial strain for post-secondary institutions in the province. Advanced Education Minister Renee Cable says since the federal government announced cuts in 2024, the province has heard from schools that there have been steep declines in international student enrollment, resulting in plummeting revenues. Officials say Manitoba's international student allocations have dropped 40% since last year, from about 18,500 to just over 11,000. The province says it will continue working with post-secondary leaders and federal officials to address the effects of the cuts. Visitors to the Living Prairie Museum on Saturday took a lesson on how animals survive the winter peg. The museum kicked off 2026 with its Animals in Winter program, teaching visitors how local species survive the winter. Visitors learned about migration, hibernation, and winter survival strategies inside the museum's interpretive center. Outside, people took part in a scavenger hunt to find hints of wildlife, from deer and rabbit tracks to old tunnels under the snow. Police dogs can find drugs, bombs, cash, and guns, but this canine you're about to meet is unique. She can find electronic devices related to child exploitation.
Willow is the 6th dog in Canada to be trained to do electronic storage device detection. The first 5 are all in Ontario. She was number 6 in Manitoba.
Say hello to Willow, and as her badge shows, she is the first electronic storage device detection dog in the Winnipeg Police and in Manitoba. Sergeant Carrie Webb of the Winnipeg Police Service is Willow's main handler. She says Willow joined the team in June 2025 and is already making a difference. Willow has been involved in more than 10 warrants and has sniffed out more than 80 devices.
It's definitely having an impact for our unit. It's faster, and she's finding the things that our suspects most don't want us to find.
Webb says Willow is trained to sniff a specific chemical that all electronic storage devices have. She's also a fully certified comfort dog, bringing a calm vibe to anyone who needs it. A big night at the Golden Globe Awards for Canadian Seth Rogen and his show The Studio, and K-pop Demon Hunter co-writer Maggie Kang. And while their show didn't qualify, the stars of Heated Rivalry were crowd pleasers.
Nikki Glazer. With the state of the world as it is, Golden Globe host Nikki Glazer said what many people weren't thinking.
The Golden Globes, without a doubt, the most important thing that's happening in the world right now.
Comedian Wanda Sykes and actor Jean Smart were one of a few actors wearing a Be Good pin reflecting a commitment to speaking out against the actions of ICE.
Let's all do the right thing. I think everybody in their hearts knows what the right thing is to do, so let's do the right thing.
The 83rd Golden Globe Awards brought together the best in film and television, and this year, podcasting.
This is exactly how I pictured it. Snoop giving me the award. Thank you so much. Tiana Taylor.
A surprise win for one battle after another, supporting actor Tiana Taylor with a message to young people who look like her.
Our light does not need permission to shine. We belong in every room we walk into. Our voices matter and our dreams deserve space. Thank you so much, everybody.
Accepting the award for the song Golden from the film K-pop Demon Hunters, EJ. She spoke about the rejection of her childhood dream of becoming a K-pop star.
This award goes to people who've had their doors closed at them, and that I can confidently say rejection is redirection. And so never give up, and it's never too late to shine like you were born to be.
And while some were surprised by their win, Timothy Chalamet openly admitted he wanted to win.
Well, my dad instilled in me a spirit of gratitude growing up. Always be grateful for what you have. It's allowed me to leave this ceremony in the past empty-handed, my head held high, grateful just to be here. But I'd be lying if I didn't say those moments didn't make this moment that much sweeter. For my parents, for my partner, I love you. Thank you so much.
And while they were not nominated this year in a room full of the biggest stars in Hollywood, the ones everybody wanted to see, the stars of the Canadian series Heated Rivalry, produced by Crave, a division of Bell Media, as is CTV.
Hi, moms. Hi, daughters.
Here's a look at what's happening now in traffic along Donald Street. There are huge delays in this part of the city. There is other traffic alert to tell you about northbound on St. Anne's approaching Bonita to Havelock. A vehicle in a snowbank is blocking the northbound curb lane, so keep left to pass. If you have any other traffic tips, please send us a text. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.24. The provincial average is slightly lower at $1.16. In Winnipeg, the average is the same, and the lowest price in the city is $1.07. All this info is on GasBuddy.com. Time now for your answers to our question of the day. We wanted to know who was your favorite winner at last night's Golden Globes. Kira said her favorite winner was Noah Weil because he deserved it. She's so happy for him. And Marlene doesn't have a favorite winner, but she liked J-Lo's outfit and she enjoys looking at what people are wearing. Thank you so much, Marlene, and thank you for your responses. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live on the sled with the dogs. Your dog sledding. Good morning.
Isn't this the coolest thing you've ever seen? Oh my goodness. By the way, Rochelle, these dogs are bilingual. They're Franco, so we've been yelling French things at them. It's fantastic. Marc-Andre joins me to tell us all about the dog sledding here at Harness Adventures. Good morning once again.
Good morning.
So do they usually get out here this early?
Yeah, quite often. Yeah, we're out there early often, yes.
And how far can they run?
It all depends on their cardio. They often, like I'll oftentimes take them on runs 25 kilometers plus. So it's, yeah, lots of fun.
Well, with 7 here, we're moving quite speedily. How fast do they go?
With visitors, I like to cruise around 9 kilometers an hour. On my own, it's normally between 12 and 14.
Oh, wow. And what are some of the commands?
G and Ha, we're coming up on the Ha here if you want to yell Ha right now.
Ha!
There we go.
That's so cool.
They turn.
Oh my goodness. And what is so magnificent and special? What is so magnificent?
It's a bit of a bumpy corner.
That's a little What is We're giving Kenny a run for his money. What's so special about dog sledding, especially here in the north?
Oh, well, it's a way to get in touch with nature. When I travel by dog sled, I see things that I never see on the Skidoo. One because of the speed, but also because you're not making tons of noise. So it's always, I can spend tons of time on a snowmobile or on a dog sled and not be bored. On a snowmobile, it's not as not the same. So lots of fun.
And it's connecting people with their Manitoba history as well.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right.
Okay, so when people come down here, they're also socializing with the dogs too. Tell us about that element.
Yeah, we think it's really important that people get to meet the dogs and see how we take care of the dogs and how the dogs are not these, working machines, solely working machines. They really enjoy people, and that's a big part of what people discover when they come and visit us.
Where can people find you?
You can find us online at harnessadventure.ca and send us an email. And it's always, we're certainly happy to have more visitors come come our way and visit us.
Can we go a little faster to end the segment?
If we all jump off, it'll go faster.
Make Kenny fly! And to link on our website too. We've had some awesome interviews this morning.
Yeah, that is so fun, and good job, Kenny, indeed. Thank you so much, you guys. Let's go out to the rooftop. That is amazing how quickly they can go.
Yeah, I think they was showing some mercy for Kenny. He was really getting his steps in, and it's not even 9. Good for him, though. Wow, that they move, that's for sure. It's a really nice day to get outside. If you have a dog-pulled sleigh or a sled, even better, but just a regular walk is pretty nice in these conditions. -5 degrees with that wind chill, feels more like -11. A little dusting of clouds, but it's looking mighty clear here in downtown Winnipeg. Winds out to the west-southwest at 19 kilometers per hour, pressure falling, humidity 82%. So a mix of sun and cloud ahead for southern Manitoba. A slight chance of some drizzle for us, mixed precipitation throughout the day and overnight. While the southwest, you could see that system tracking in later on this afternoon and overnight. Temperatures, though, lovely. 2 degrees is what we're looking at here in Winnipeg. -13 is what's typical. That drizzle that's expected, if not today, likely tomorrow. That's on the back end of a low pressure system that's moving into northern Manitoba. With that, you're likely to see snowfall through the day, about 2 to 5 centimeters worth. Although from Lynn Lake to Thompson to Island Lake, a bit more is possible, about 5 to 10 centimeters. That'll continue off and on through today and into tonight. Temperatures, though, very nice, above seasonal in the mid- single digits. Okay, we're going to pay a couple bills, but stay with us. We'll be right back just after this on Your Morning Winnipeg. Don't go anywhere.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
For Canadians struggling to access healthcare services, any small innovative idea can help. But in St. John's, a brand new, bigger option to receive care is set to open its doors. The facility among the first of its kind in Newfoundland and Labrador. CTV's Garrett Barry reports.
When her family doctor of 17 years gave up her practice last April, Alicia Penny Harnham joined her husband and the thousands of other Newfoundlanders and Labradorians who are searching for a family doctor.
It was frustrating, but it was also extremely scary because she had our entire history, any medical complaints she was familiar with.
And like so many others, she headed for the emergency room just a few months later for an illness that could have been dealt with somewhere else.
If I could have seen a doctor, my family doctor, I could have avoided the emergency room altogether. We didn't know when I went down there, we didn't know if we'd be waiting 16 hours or 2 hours or 24 hours.
Statistics compiled by the Canadian Institute for Health Information suggest about 1 in 7 emergency department visits across the country are related to complaints that could have been managed by a family doctor. In Newfoundland, emergency rooms have become so full, paramedics have racked up hundreds of hours each month waiting for hospital beds to become available for their patients, something called an offload delay. Healthcare officials hope this brand new facility, designed to bridge the gap between primary care and emergency departments, might become part of the solution. It will be open 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, staffed with nurses, doctors, nurse practitioners. Officials say it's like a walk-in clinic with more diagnostic tools on site.
So think, a potential cold or flu or infection, something like skin, or, maybe you think you might have a chest infection, something along those lines.
It comes online Monday morning, the first of 2 planned for the St. John's region. And Newfoundland and Labrador's provincial government says it's already in the process of designing a 3rd centre in nearby Conception Bay South. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
With our fast-paced world, more people are turning to more traditional art forms to pass the time. Punch needle, working with wool and other fibers are seeing a resurgence in Manitoba. Owner of Wool Mountain, Maureen Winicki-Lyons, has been felt making, hand spinning and punch needling for years and is sharing her passion with others with a class this weekend. Joining us now is Maureen Winicki-Lyons. Good morning, Maureen.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, this is an old art form, right? What can you tell us about the history of this?
Well, punch needle is kind of the cool sister of existing rug hooking, which has a long-standing history of fiber arts in Canada coming from the East Coast.
Okay.
So rug hooking is very similar to this, and we have a history of it in Canada. Punch needle is worked from the back as opposed to the front, but from an observer's point of view, they both look pretty much the same.
Okay.
People are very excited about punch needle. It's having a moment right now in time, and I'm here for it because anyone who can find a reason to become enthusiastic like me with the fiber arts is good people in my view.
Why do you think it's suddenly getting all this attention?
Well, I think it's because fiber arts for the most part are very engaging, easy to get into. There's often a short, sometimes steep learning curve, but after that it tends to be pretty smooth sailing with all kinds of room left for creativity because the act of doing the thing that you want to do is pretty simple and straightforward. So it allows you to invent all kinds of interesting ways to say what you want to say with fiber.
And you're getting recognition for some of your work. You won an award. You won the Judith Ryan Award for your work last year. What was that like for you? What did it mean to you?
Oh, it was a huge honor. By the Craft Council, I was awarded that, and Judith Ryan was a really outstanding interdisciplinary artist, and there's a long history of artists in Winnipeg who have been given the designation of her award, and so to be included among those was like a true honor.
I guess. Okay, and some of these pieces that you brought here, they're completed. They're stunning. You offered for me to touch them. You wanted me to touch them.
Oh, please, yeah, it's all about touch.
Beautiful, really pieces of art, which is just fascinating that this is having a resurgence. What does it do for your physical and mental health to be able to do something like this?
When I get wool in my hands or yarn in my hands or the ability to sit down and really dive into this really soft and engaging and incredibly forgiving art form, it takes me away from whatever is on my mind. You enter that flow state, like whoever it is, whatever you're doing, whatever your situation in life, it's like you get lost in this. And it's focus, it's so forgiving. Like my first love was ceramics, and to be able to drop your piece, your finished piece, your work in progress, innumerable times, and it always forgives you, right? Like you can drop a skein of yarn a million times, and it will always still be a skein of yarn. Whereas if you spent 80 hours working on a perfect sculpture,
and then you
it is
drop
not going to forgive you, right?
So this is the tool we're working with today?
Yes, that is the punch.
Okay.
It's called punch for the punch needle, and there's different kinds of punch needles depending on what kind of material you want to puncture.
Show me how to do this because we're almost out of time already.
Okay.
So
because I ramble.
So first, let's look at the top, the front, so we have an idea, which is beautiful.
Almost done.
Now you're using this yellow because you're putting dandelions in the field.
Yes, the bison is going to be in a field of dandelions.
Okay.
So the art of punch is to push it through the fiber.
Okay.
In between these little bits of weave, and then pull it back out again. And so we work it from the back, but what you see is happening on the other side. So there's 3 little loops, right?
Right.
So
that's why you call it punch, because you're literally punching it through the fiber.
So the funny thing about fiber arts is that they often have really violent terms, but it's like the opposite
the
of
softest violence ever.
the softest violence ever.
Okay, so you're having a workshop this weekend. You have spots available in your class. Where can people go and check it out?
The workshop will take place at my studio at Artlington Studios, which is a lovely place. I'm very happy to be there, but the tickets are through Eventbrite.
Okay, and of course we'll have a link on our website as well. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Would
Congrats
you like to
on
give
the
it
award.
a try?
I will.
Yeah, do it. Straight, like 90-degree perpendicular, all the way. Feels violent,
I feel like I'm gonna.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
You're doing great, Rochelle. I expect a finished piece by the end of the show. Alrighty, it's -5 degrees out there with that wind chill. Feels more like -11. Mostly clear and sunny and gorgeous. Winds are out of the west-southwest. Pressure falling. Humidity sits at 82%. Sunshine abounds throughout southern Manitoba. To the north, a totally different story. You can see a good amount of cloud coverage, and with it, a low pressure system likely to spread some snowfall, 2 to 4 centimeters worth. For us here, we're likely to stay dry, although we do have a slight chance of some rainfall or mixed precipitation. For us here in Winnipeg, we're looking at a high of 2 degrees. Overnight, temperatures dipping down to 1, and then tomorrow we're likely to get some rain or flurry activity with a high of 1. We're going to take a break, but stay with us. Your videos of the day still to come on Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store. Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Before we say goodbye, we're going to send you off with some fun videos. We kick things off with a live rap show as an alarm.
It's when look at this way, looking at me like this. Do 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 do.
Poor mom. Just as it says in the caption, she was woken up by a rap and a recorder at 7 in the morning. It may not sound good in the early morning, but nearly 17 million people love her beats and think she should go on tour.
Not a recorder at that early hour. Yikes.
And now to an expected mom enjoying a very special moment.
Just gently, okay?
Raising cross.
This woman noticed the elephant giving her little love taps when it noticed she was pregnant. The mom-to-be thanked the pachyderm for the precious moment. That's sweet.
So cute.
And then shoveling can be more fun with this dog. Now that's a happy dog. He's flipping over snow. Watch Willie jump and flip every time his owner shovels snow towards him.
My dog is an impediment when I shovel, which I never do, let's be honest.
That does it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.